Mining Operations Secretariat, NIMOS, has successfully carried out an intelligence-led operation, disbanding entrenched illegal mining networks and apprehending individuals impersonating themselves as national security operatives within the Odan River Forest Reserve in the Ashanti region. The coordinated mission was conducted in partnership with the Ashanti Regional Security Council, what we know as the RECSEC, and is part of the renewed nationwide crackdown on illegal mining activities that still threaten Ghana's protected forest reserves and river bodies. NIMOS officials say that the elite task force launched the joint operation on Thursday, October 23, following weeks of surveillance and intelligence gathering. The mission led to the arrest of 15 illegal miners and 9 armed imposters who had infiltrated the forest under false pretenses. Authorities say the exercise also aligns with NIMOS's broader strategy of repurposing seized illegal mining equipment to support in affected communities. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources has also announced the revocation of about 278 small-scale mining licenses nationwide. And they have been citing breaches of mining regulations, which reflects the minister's renewed commitment to discipline. Is in line with the strategy. This morning, we'll be having a discussion with the communications director or manager for the ministry. When we get back from this break, we'll introduce her with her name for you to understand what is this renewed effort and how the ministry intends to crack down and make this talk of Galamsey illegal mining a thing of the past. As usual, this is sponsored by Bank of Africa and by the NPA. Bank of Africa understands that we all need some quick financial solution every now and then. Whether it is for school fees, or it is you replacing an old refrigerator or fixing that car engine to get back on the road. The Bank of Africa Quick Fix Loan was made with you in mind. Why don't you seize the opportunity and let your tough times make way for that soft life? This life that you have been always dreaming about. Visit any Bank of Africa branch near you today and enjoy unbeatable low interest rates, flexible terms, and a straightforward application process. Call Bank of Africa on 0302 429 333 or 0302 249 690. Or you can visit their website and chat with Fafa, www.voaghana.com, and you can get all the information needed. Remember, terms and conditions apply. Bank of Africa, as strong as a group, as close as a partner. We'll be right back after this break.
For decades, we have helped businesses connect with their trade partners all over the globe. From Ghana to Burkina Faso, Côte d'Ivoire, Benin, Togo, Senegal, China, Morocco, France, Netherlands, and many other countries. We have made it possible to bring Ghana to the world. We have brought small and medium businesses closer to their customers across the regions in Ghana with our SME support facilities. We have brought relief and smiles to the faces of families with our employee personal loans. With our cutting-edge technology and digital support, we take the burden of complex thinking off you, making life simple. That is who we are, as close as a partner. Bank of Africa. We are indeed the African bank with the global reach.
Welcome back to Current Agenda, your most authoritative news analysis program. As mentioned earlier, this is sponsored by Bank of Africa and NPA, the National Petroleum Authority. Do you suspect you didn't get the right amount of fuel? the National Petroleum Authority says that if you have issues about the quality of the fuel you bought, or if you have experienced bad customer service at any fuel station, don't stress yourself. The NPA is here to assist you. Reach out to the toll-free number 0302-550-380, or feel free to walk into the head office located at Jowulu of the NY Highway or any of the regional offices to make a complaint. The NPA is assuring you that if you experience any of these issues at any filling station you go to buy fuel, you have 48 hours to report. Make that report, and NPA would investigate and get to the bottom of it. Where customer care meets excellence. That is what the NPA is promising us. That they are not just there to regulate, but they are to make sure that the customers, those who buy the fuel, we are served what we deserve. NPA is at your service. And as usual, Bank of Africa Quick Fix Loan is saying that once you have that tough time, get to Bank of Africa and they would help you with your quick fix. Well, this morning, we'll be having a discussion with the Director of Communications for the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. She's here, an early morning riser with me. I'm sure you can hear her smile or laugh in the background. Good morning, Amma.
Good morning, Kojo.
How are you doing?
I'm well.
Your I'm well is not too convincing.
I am well.
You sure?
It's an early morning.
I think you should be well with the good news that is coming with everything. And kudos to you and your team for this great feat. It's just the beginning of many to come. I hope so.
Yes,
right.
Absolutely.
So yes, Ama Mawusi Mawenyefia. I've pronounced the name right? Good.
Yeah.
Is the Director of Communications for the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. Welcome once again.
Thank you.
So yes, this week we hear NIMOS has done a very good job. There's been a massive crackdown. Just tell us a bit about what actually has been achieved. What should we, the people, be happy about? What is it that we should celebrate for this one?
Okay. So good morning again. And I think generally for the last few months or since the beginning of the year, we've been consistent with raids across the country, trying to clamp down on illegal mining, especially in the hot spots. The focus for NIMOS has been mainly in the forest reserves, along the water bodies, and then mainly on our main roads. Now, back to back, every day actually, every day of the working week, the team is on the ground, they're conducting raids, and then they also have a monitoring team that also goes back. So it's not like they conduct the raid and they leave and then that's it. They always have a monitoring team that goes back to go and ensure that the place has been actually cleared up. There's not been any re-incursion. So now the one you were speaking to earlier is the raid from Thursday, 23rd, yes, Thursday. And that was conducted in conjunction with the Ashanti RECSEC, Ashanti Regional Security Council. And they had raided the Oda River Forest Reserve. That forest reserve had actually been reclaimed in the past, and there had been a re-incursion. These illegal miners had basically uprooted the plants, the trees that had been planted there, dug holes, destroyed the river, polluted the river, created holes and all of that. And so the team had gone in there, raided the place, arrested them, and we had these people come in some khaki uniforms claiming to be from national security. And they came with a bribe, actually. They came with a bribe.
To bribe NIMOS.
To bribe NIMOS. Total amount was about 120,000. They brought 100,000 to say they were going to come to use that
cedis
to greet.
Or dollars?
Cedis, to greet, and then 20,000 for chop money. And NIMOS team says, okay, here we go. And then they were arrested. So that was that. All of that has been brought to the head office. The guys have been arrested. And then the update from that, yesterday was apparently 3 of the gentlemen who were claiming to be from national security actually are from national security.
Oh, you don't mean it?
Yes.
So they were not imposters. Do you actually have some of them being national security?
Yes, some of them actually
who have also recruited national security?
Yes, who are also they are all national security operatives.
Interesting.
So one guy has been identified. Actually, 3 names were matching national security records. Let me put it that way. One guy had actually been identified, and the national security coordinator has asked for immediate revocation of his appointment, and then he's going to be prosecuted with immediate effect. So we are seeing the results, and I think generally Ghanaians are also seeing it. We have said that we're going to be transparent to the people of Ghana. So daily we provide the updates. We started a program 2 weeks ago, piloted a program 2 weeks ago, where every Friday we put together a consolidated report of all the activities that government is doing towards the fight against illegal mining. And then we share, like in a press briefing, sort of, we share with the people of Ghana. And people are seeing the results, and the feedback has been good.
That's interesting. Mentioning the prosecution, I know prosecution sits with the Attorney General and doesn't sit with the ministry, but do you have an idea the numbers that are being prosecuted and the one that have been convicted?
So the last update that I have, the last update I got was the Attorney General has about 61 dockets. And one docket will have multiple cases. So there are hundreds of cases that are at various levels of prosecution that the AG is following up on. But as we go along, we will be sharing those updates as well.
Right, okay. Also, I know the Water Resource Commission is responsible for the measurement of the turbidity level, but obviously as a ministry, you would have the figures. What's the recent turbidity level?
So what we have asked the Water Resource Commission to help us with, and I was just talking about updates, is with, especially in the areas where the Blue Water Guards, which is a task force that we had set to man the water bodies in the riverine communities, and where the Blue Water Guards are stationed to provide us with those updates. So we started sharing those updates with us. Of course, it is not, we're not saying that all of the rivers are improving. That would not be factual. But we are seeing improvement in specific areas, and we are following through. And particularly where these river guards are stationed, we're seeing improvements. Ideally, they say, the experts tell us that the turbidity levels for potable drinking water should be 0 to 5. Maximum should be 500 for them to be able to treat for us. Now, when government assumed office at the beginning of the year, we had turbidity levels. We're seeing turbidity levels around 5,000, as much as 12,000, 20,000. But over the period, with the work that we're doing with NIMOS, ensuring that nobody is going around the water bodies with the Blue Water Guards basically stationed there, we are seeing a lot of these river bodies improving. And over time, we should see a lot more. And then once we're able to clear them from the water bodies, then we can start into the next step, which is dechemicalizing the water and ensuring that all of us have safe and potable drinking water.
Good to hear. Let's get back to the order. So after the exercise by NIMOS, what has been the level of distraction there?
So the Forestry Commission is going to do that exercise and share with us. We know that Forest Reserve is about 168 kilometers square. From the NIMOS team, they say the damage is extensive, but the Forestry Commission with the experts will be able to measure and give us the actual acreage of the area that has been damaged. So once we have those updates as well, this just happened on Thursday. The team is already on the ground as I speak. So I'm sure in the coming few days we should be able to get a fair idea the actual extent of the damage, and we'll share that as well. But
is there a rehabilitation plan in place?
So definitely now we need to add that to the numbers. Already we had said that there are about 5,500 hectares of forest reserves alone that have been degraded by illegal miners. Right. So obviously now this becomes part of those numbers. So we need to update the numbers as well.
Okay. So if you count this in addition to all the previous stories we've heard about NIMOS successes, in rough idea, what has been the success story so far? How many recoveries have we done?
Several recoveries. From beginning of the year to date, Arrests alone, we are close to 1,500 arrests persons. Yes, actually, so yesterday there was another arrest of some Chinese, about 10 of them. So that already adds to the number. The Chinese alone, from June to dates, we have about 60. And we have about 1,500 locals. And then
was this also at the order or a different location?
This one was a different location. This was at Basu. Yeah. And then the excavators a little over 500. Then other machines, bulldozers, chanfans. As for the chanfans, we destroy them. Water pumps we usually retrieve because we think that they could be put to good use. So, for instance, a couple of months ago, we had about 900 water pumps that we had shared with the Ministry of Agric so they could be disbursed to farmers for them to use for their work. There are a few more that we are collating at the NIMOS office that once we have good numbers, again, we will share with the Ministry of Agric for them to share to send to the farmers. So for the materials that we could put to good use, those ones have been channeled into good use. Those ones we're not destroying, but the ones that we need to destroy, the team actually goes ahead to destroy them. Okay,
so this is not just you. Anytime I hear of the exercises or the raids done by NIMOS or any other, we hear of excavators that have been retrieved, we hear of chamfan, we hear of water pumps. We never hear of the monies that have been recovered because obviously people don't go to Galamsey site empty pockets. Like you said, some even came there 120 to bribe. Definitely when we go to a Galamsey site, we'll definitely go and see some gold that has been mined, probably seated to be lifted. We never hear of what has become of those ones. We hear excavators, this number has been seized, it will be given. Pumps, this number, champagne, but nobody says that, oh, these ounces of gold were also uncovered. Is it that when we get there, nothing like that is?
Oh, there are a few times we've reported, when there's money, the team always reports that. We've not had reports of gold because most of the time, the way NIMOS works, because they work with Intel, most of the time, they would have gone when the guys have started work. So we've not had reports of gold, but as and when they do, we would share. I think last week or so, the reports, one of the days, the reports that they had brought back, there was some money, there was even Indian hemp. All of those were reported. So every single item that is recovered on site, it is reported. So yeah, we do that. For NIMOS, they do that.
Right. Okay. So when these things are, for instance, the excavators, is there a plan for the excavators? I mean, in my intro, I mentioned some suggestion of even probably using it for the farmers, for agric and all those things. Are there plans?
Yes, there are. So we have the DRIP program is one of those. We also have the Responsible Cooperative Mining and Skills Development Program, the COMSTEP, where we are asking people within local communities, local mining communities, to put themselves together, register as a cooperative, and then we provide them with support to be able to mine properly, sustainably and responsibly. And that program would also get support from some of these items that we have seized, because there are occasions where they will need items like the excavators and things like that. So that program also benefits from some of these programs. Then we talked about the farmers, we talked about the DRIP program and all of those things. So there's an actual implementation plan for use for all of these items that are seized, if they can be put to good use.
Okay, so NIMOS is a secretariat, right? And so it's not only the task force, but there is a back office bit to it.
Yes.
Now, so the task force bits are the ones who are going there to make the claim and all that. Then there's the back office, which I believe you would, for some reason, be extended to it because of the role you play at the ministry. Now, does the back office bit also investigate into who the financiers for instance, this other river?
That's what they do, and they're working with the AG's office to be able to do that. In some instances where, for instance, I spoke about the 10 Chinese, in those instances, they are the financiers, so they have been arrested. In the instances where they are not financiers, but they are the actual guys, workers on the ground, based on investigations, they're able to identify who the financiers are, who the kingpins are, and then they go after them. So, like you said, there's a back office that does that work, and then there's also the task force bit. So this is a full functional secretariat that is doing the job, and that's why we're also able to see, the significant results that we are seeing.
Right. Right. Okay. Back to the earlier point you made that you later found out that about 3 of them have names matching names of people who are supposed to be true national security. So the task force on ground, do they have any mechanism, any way of verifying identity of people who come posing as national security or as military or as police or as anything?
It's an interesting question. So when we launched NIMOS, we were very clear to say NIMOS is it's a combination of security agencies. So you have the army, you have the police, you have national security, you have NIB, NACOX, all of those agencies come together as NIMOS. So if somebody comes to say, I am from national security, there's already national security operatives as part of NIMOS. So where are you coming from? Because it is not, like we said, it's not a task force. It's a full functional secretariat.
Right.
And so we have brought the complement of all the relevant security agencies together to work as one unit. So you cannot come from somewhere and say you are from national security, whereas we have a national security as part of NIMOS. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
I do.
So it is very easy for us to be able to say, no, you are not from national security, or you're not from the Ghana police, because we have police people as part of NIMOS. The way NIMOS works, it's highly intelligence-led. When we get intel every day, we get calls every day to say there's been an infraction here, or there's this activity going on here, can you come and check, and all of that. When somebody makes a call or we get an intel, we investigate. So that's where the national security, that's where the NIB team comes in, they do the investigations. If they need to deploy the military, they do. If they need to deploy the police, they do. If they need to deploy both, they do. Now, when they go on site, of course, when it comes to arrests, that's just with the Ghana police. So then the police in the team effects the arrest, and also they help with following up on prosecutions. So every security agency has a specific role to play in there. I talked about Indian hemp. So and a lot of the time you go into some of these areas and that there's high incidence of, drugs, illegal drugs. So then that's when the NACOX team also comes in, and then they also do their work. So every security agency that's a part of NIMOS already has a role. They are clear on what their role is in that secretariat. So you cannot come from somewhere and come and say you're from national security or you're from NIB, and you cannot come and join NIMOS. Like, there's a protocol. Yes.
Okay. So on the bit about the reoccupation, you mentioned that when the task force leaves, there's a monitoring team that comes afterwards to ensure. Because earlier you alluded to the fact that this other reserve, forest reserve, initially or in the past had been cleared. But because there was no follow-up, they had been resettling in there. So now there is a monitoring team. Does the monitoring team just go to situate or to site there, or they just go to check and leave?
So what I was talking about monitoring team was, for instance, we have gone to a particular area to go and conduct a raid. Once they leave, there's a team that always goes back. But you remember we had the Minister, Honorable Makofibo, had recently mentioned that going forward, forest reserves, water bodies have been declared security zones. So that said, there's a team that is being deployed to be stationed permanently. These areas have been mapped into 21 hotspots, and we have about 400, close to 400 trained men who are being deployed into these areas. So for the areas where they are going to be situated permanently, that's already taken care of. But I'm talking specifically to areas that are not, they are not stationed permanently. And that has always been the protocol. So they do, a month ago or so, there was an area around the Tano area forest reserve that the NIMOS team had cleared it, for instance. And then after 2 days, some guys had tried to make a re-incursion. They were arrested the same day because the team was already going on the ground. So the same day they got there about 7 a.m. Before midday, they had been picked up. and they had been arrested. So that has always been the protocol. But with areas where they're going to be deployed permanently, of course, that they're going to have permanent presence. So that's, you can't even go in at all. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, let me move a bit beyond NIMOS and look at it globally. So globally, beyond NIMOS, what's the global effort? Because NIMOS would be at a place at a time, and NIMOS would move. So the places that are yet to be visited by NIMOS, what's the plan? Is it that everything has been left for, if NIMOS is not there, things should go on till NIMOS comes?
No, that's what we're saying. I talked about intelligence. I talked about, so mainly intelligence. We get feedback from people all the time, but the broader strategy. We've had, for instance, a lot of the chiefs coming in to say, we've heard about the programs that you're rolling out, the cooperative skills program, for instance, and we have said that on our own, we are taking charge, we're taking responsibility, ensuring that illegal miners are not coming into our areas to come and destroy our land. So what can we do? Are you able to assist us to bring our young people together, form cooperatives, for instance, and provide them with the support and all of the things, within the framework that you have developed, and let's get them to actually do mining the right way. So if you look at the strategy that we have, it's a multi-pronged strategy. There's a stakeholder engagement and collaboration, because we believe that there are instances where for some people, basically the essence of them getting involved in these illegal mining, it's because they're not even aware of the risk that they put themselves in, the risk they put others in. There's basically low education on how to even conduct mining the proper way and things. So, and sometimes you find leaders, traditional leaders or local leaders, for instance, aiding and abetting because they don't know what the protocol is. So we do a lot of the stakeholder engagement. So that takes care of that. Then we're also looking at the regulations. So you can't ask people to do the right things when there are gaps in your regulations or your regulations have not evolved over time. If you have laws that were enacted in 2006, for instance, we're in 2025, what do you do about those laws? Things are changing, people are evolving, the industry itself is evolving. So what can we do to improve on all of that? So we look at that, and that's why we're reviewing the Minerals and Mining Act, the Minerals and Mining Policy, and all of those things. And that's why we're instituting things like excavator tracking and all of that. Then the bit about NIMOS we're talking about sits with law enforcement, because once there's a legal framework, once there are laws, the laws need to be enforced. So who is ensuring that the laws are being enforced? So that's where NIMOS comes in. I talked about the skills program. There are instances where people engage in illegal mining generally because of lack of access to livelihood or opportunities. So we are not saying nobody should get involved in mining. We believe that mining is a viable activity. It's commercially viable, and people would want to get involved in mining, which is fine. We've seen the gains that the mining activity, even small scale alone, has raked in for government revenue over the last few months. We've seen the successes that we're chalking with Gold Board. And so we're saying, because people want, Ghana is #1 in Africa today in terms of gold production. We are 6th in the world. We should be able to provide sustainable opportunities, but they want to move away from it. What will be the other alternatives for them? We provide that framework for them. Then while we are doing all of that, I've talked about 5,500 hectares of land that has been destroyed. I've talked about pollution of the water bodies. Almost all our all the three river basins have been affected by illegal mining. So what do we do about that? So then you reclaim the land, you dechemicalize the water and ensure that they are, improving on the water quality. The famous dechemicalization. Professor Nana has spoken about it, so I can confidently use the word. So we dechemicalize the water, we reclaim the degraded lands and all of that. So that's where all of those programs come in. So when you look at the programs that the strategy that we are deploying, it touches on everything, and then it's able to address it, because you can't use a blanket approach to be able to resolve a problem as illegal mining.
Okay. My last on NIMOS. Does NIMOS have a KPI set for us to be able to measure their success or otherwise?
Oh, yes, they do. I don't believe anybody works without KPIs. There's a full functional secretariat, and they have KPIs. They are clear on their modus operandi. They are clear on their protocols. There are instances where people have said, oh, why are we not following NIMOS when they are going into to conduct the rates? I say you cannot follow them when they're conducting the rates because sometimes they don't even tell us. They will let us know. We will bring you updates, and then that's it. And you will be there. You will get the updates because there are times where they, for instance, want to, just to collaborate. Just to collaborate with people, they would let them know that, okay, we are coming into maybe the Dark Forest Reserve or something. And before they get there, the illegal miners already have wind that the team is coming and then they bolt. So there are protocols, there are KPIs, there are clear KPIs. And also, for instance, one of the things that we had spoken about was to procure them monitoring body cams. So that when they go into the field, you were talking about seized gold and seized money and all of that. We're able to see that this is actually what they picked on the ground. This is actually what they are bringing to us. So all of those things are there. Those monitoring mechanisms, all those KPIs are also in place for them.
Okay. Now we hear that licenses of about 278 small-scale mining businesses have been revoked. What are some of the reasons? Is it safety, or is it that their lines have expired? If you're putting them under categories, how would you categorize the reasons for the revocation?
Okay, so let me start from the top. When I spoke about the strategy, I talked about the regulatory reform, and that's the revocation actually sits with the regulatory reform. You cannot, for instance, and I talked about the legal framework. You cannot say that you have laws and you are implementing the laws when you're not looking at, in this instance where we are issuing out license, who is issuing out the licenses, who is getting the license, how are the licenses being issued at? So one of the first things that we did was to say, let's audit the licenses. Somewhere like 5 months ago, the audit team had come with a report to say there were about 900, a little over 900 licenses that had several infractions or irregularities. And Minister had asked that we publish those licenses. So they were under three categories. There was documentation gaps, there was documentation quality, and then the last one. Now, all these three, all these licenses, over 900 of them were published. And we gave a fair opportunity for small-scale miners, and this is with small-scale miners to come in and rectify those irregularities. Because there are times where, for instance, maybe documentation gap, and it is said that you were supposed to upload document A, but you go into the system, is not there. So it has been called out. But maybe you actually did upload it. Maybe there was a system failure or something that can be rectified. So we gave a fair opportunity for small-scale miners to do that. Actually, in the initial plan, we gave them 2 weeks, and they had come to see the minister to ask for an extended time, and he graciously said, okay, let's add another 2 weeks to it. And so we gave them that time. In the same vein, the Minerals Commission, which is the agency responsible for, managing the issuance of license, was also supposed to clean up their act and also check from their end what were the gaps from their end, and also do that. So all of that exercise has been done. And the aftermath of that exercise is that we found out that 278 of those small-scale mining licenses were not able to rectify the irregularities. So all of those 278 mining licenses have been revoked. As I speak, the exercise is ongoing for large-scale mining licenses as well, because we are saying we are sanitizing the entire regime. So it's not just small scale. So in the coming weeks, you also get the report for the large scale as well, and then we'll take it from there.
So which means that out of the 900, about 600 plus were able to regularize whatever it is.
Yes.
So they are in good standing.
They are in good standing.
Okay. Yeah. For these 278, what has been put in place to ensure that they don't go back to site to work, even though they don't have the license?
So first of all, we have published the names. If you are you're a businessman, you're a miner, and you hold a small-scale mining license, check from that list and ensure that your name is not there. Now, if you find your company name there, do not go to site to mine. Come to the Minerals Commission and start the process to, get a license. Because if NIMOS has the list, NIMOS has the locations. So if we come into an area, we are not expecting you to be mining. We're not expecting to be found on site to be mining. And you are found there. You have broken the law because you cannot mine without a license. So you have broken the law and the law will take its course. And that is why we've made it easy. We've published the names so that everybody has access to it. You can see it is all the news portals are carrying it. It is there. It's on our websites as well. It's on our social media pages as well. So you can actually see. My name is there. My name is not there. If your name is not there, you can go ahead and mine. If your name is there, you know that you are not expected to go to site to mine. Immediately come to the Minerals Commission, apply for a license, and then before you can go back to go and mine. Otherwise, if the team comes there and they find you working, then you know that you have broken the law.
So this speaks to the business. Now, there are individuals working in the business who are experienced in mining. The company's license has been revoked. These individuals have the skill to mine. These individuals are now not employed. These individuals are the potential galamseyers. What is the worry of the ministry?
Oh, Vanessa, okay, let me put it this way. If you're running a business, you know the framework in which you run the business. You know the guidelines, you know the rules. First of all, why do you sit and allow your license to expire? Or why do you sit and allow, and I mentioned we give a fair opportunity because otherwise it could have easily been said, these 900 licenses, have irregularities. Let's revoke. But we gave a fair opportunity for amendment and rectification. So if you do not take those steps to rectify that, I don't believe that that's responsibility sits with government. That sits with you, the individual who has not done your work. And so you cannot say that because you have not done your work and the law has taken its course, you go and engage in further illegality. I'm sorry, that one is not allowed. And that, if you are breaking the law twice.
You're breaking the law twice, so the law will deal with you.
Well, the law is the law.
Interesting. Right. Well, before we go, I mean, yesterday, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? When did we lose the former First Lady?
I think 2 days ago, Thursday.
Was Thursday?
Yes.
Okay. So probably I'll give you a minute to look into the camera and being a woman and knowing how influential she has been, even to us men in this country. Just give you an opportunity to, if you have any fond memory you would want to share, if there's anything you would want to speak to, just like a minute.
I think everybody in Ghana knows how much the size of the blow that we have been hit with Nana Konnedu's passing. Everybody, I mean, even if you were not born back in the 80s, you would have read the books, you would have heard the stories of 31st December Women's Movement, her mobilizing women and empowering women. And it is, for us women, a lot of us say she's the reason why we're able to have the voice that we have today. That woman was a force. That woman was a force, and her passing is a loss to the state. I wish the family well. I pray for strength for them in these times, and my condolences to them. I think we have lost a great asset in this country, and we pray her soul rest in peace. We pray her soul rest in peace. Thank you very much, Ama Mawusi Mawenyefia. She's the Director of Communications at the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. We woke her up from her bed very early this morning. I'm sure she'd go and continue. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll be looking into other issues. We will look into the issue, the AG's announcement of the prosecution of the former buffer stock boss. Also, the Office of the Special Prosecutor has come back on the issues raised concerning from the break. We'll be right back.
decades, we have helped businesses connect with their trade partners all over the globe. From Ghana to Burkina Faso, Côte d'Ivoire, Benin, Togo, Senegal, China, Morocco, France, Netherlands, and many other countries. We have made it possible to bring Ghana to the world. We have brought small and medium businesses closer to their customers across the regions in Ghana with our SME support facilities. We have brought relief and smiles to the faces of families with our employee personal loans. With our cutting-edge technology and digital support, we take the burden of complex thinking off you, making life simple. That is who we are, as close as a partner. Bank of Africa. We are indeed the African bank with the global reach.
The judges. Am I a bugger? Dr. Cafe, Captain Toba. Let's meet our resident chef, Chef Rotimi. Game changers, are you ready? Let's get cooking. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Game changer is
Hi, this is GBC Client Service.
Hello, thank you for calling.
GBC provides you the platform to amplify your brand reach. When you advertise on our 7 TV channels
and 18 regional and district radio stations across the country.
Please reach our sales department at sales@gbcghanaonline.com and telephone numbers 0303 959604 and 0303 959605.
For all customer care issues, reach us by email care@gbcghanaonline.com and on telephone 030 3959 605 and 030 3959 606.
GBC, still the most authentic voice.
Meet Kwame. He's not just any Kwame. He's Kwame the TV license legend. Kwame knows that by paying his TV license, he's supporting GBC, our public service broadcaster, and he's making a real difference. Kwame's contribution helps bring our communities closer together. Because of Kwame and others like him, we will all have access to amazing TV programs, educational content, plus broadcasting infrastructures are maintained and our culture is beautifully promoted. So GBC is asking all to respond to this civic obligation and pay your TV license fee. For individuals, it's 3 CDs per month or 36 CDs per year. If you have multiple sets, meaning 2 or more in your household, it's 60 CDs per year. For commercial institutions, it's your number of TV sets by 36 CDs per year, and you pay the invoiced amount directly to GBC. So let's all take a moment to appreciate Kwame, the TV license legend. Wherever you are, just dial *447 *333# and follow the prompt. It's your civic duty, so pay your TV license today. GBC.
Welcome back from our break. Before we go into the major topics for discussion this morning, I would want to reflect as I normally do before we start the discussion. And today I'm reflecting on something that is dear. This week we saw a few videos of the new railway, the new rail lines, the new train, and people were celebrating it, and I'm happy as a Ghanaian. But I immediately remembered something that happened way back in 2016. November 2016 marked a very momentous day in the city or in the town KOJO. As our president today, then President John Mahama officially inaugurated the Sekondi Takoradi KOJO railway line. And the hope was that it was going to infuse the town with a lot of excitement and hope for a brighter future. That was a dawn of a new era, a testament to reviving Ghana's once thriving railway legacy, a network that historically bridged communities, fueled trade, and at the same time, it drove progress across the nation. But a decade later, that promise has rusted away. $165 million promise lies in a haunting silence, overgrown with weeds and ravaged by time. The once visionary project meant to revitalize Ghana's rail network now stands as a testament to abandonment. Its rusting tracks, a poignant reminder of what could have been the ideal situation. Today at KOJO Station, the luxury coaches sit idle and abandoned, corroding and forgotten. The laughter of the commuters, what we would have seen and heard in the coaches, has now been replaced by the hum of insects and the sigh of the wind through broken windows. You can see on the screen the trains that were brought, the coaches that were brought, well sprayed the Ghana colors, showing boldly the red, gold, green, and the black star. But that's all they became. It became a standing force and prosperity. Instead, it has become a monument that reflects how we neglect state property. Everyday students trudge past this abandoned railway, and their footsteps become a testament to lost opportunities. Traders who once had hope that this would bring relief are now navigating the traffic and the chaotic traffic and paying high costs to travel and move from one location to the other. You can see on the screen, see how well this was built. See how the building and then the station and then the ticketing center looks like. See the chairs, the sitting area. Meanwhile, the Ghana Railway Development Authority is very silent on this. Their quietness is so suffocating, and it's as suffocating as the rust consuming the idle trains. What really went wrong? We talk about recoveries and all those things, but this is $165 million investment that's vanished into a bureaucratic fog. How long will we keep commissioning projects that we cannot sustain? And so when I see people happy about the train today, I ask myself, in 10 years, will all this fanfare, will all this happiness, will all this social media patronage and reach and all that, will it now also end in cobwebs? See the train tracks, see the weeds. As to whether this even represents the same standard gauge now, we can't tell. You can see the President commissioned the 26th November 2016. But today, the broken clock at Sekondi Station says it all. The hands of the clock are frozen. And the freezing of the hand symbolizes a promise that has been stuck in time. Until we learn to let accountability replace excuses and adopt a maintenance culture and avoid neglect, our dream of moving to railway will remain just a dream. See what you are, I mean, look on your screen. Beneath this weed are railways. Our money, millions and dollars, or billions of dollars, I must say. The building looks very nice. It does not shy away, or it does not fall short of what we see in other countries when we go there. But yet, what is it that we can boast of today? Imagine the employment this would have brought to the people of Sekondi Takoradi. Imagine the hope it would give to the students who walk past the place every day. Imagine how much it would save commuters. Even the pollution of the environment from diesel and fossil engine. But here we are. 10 years later, a disappointed community. Our money is thrown to the gutters. This is my reflection. And this is GTV Current Agenda's reflection. I say every morning that you are not Ghanaian simply because you possess a Ghanaian passport or because you have a Ghana card. You are Ghanaian because the blood of a Ghanaian runs through you. Let's be Ghanaians. Let's be patriotic wherever we find ourselves. Let's be responsible and accountable for everything that is put in our hands. Brighten the corner where you are. I leave it to us and the people that be to take a second look. If you want to do a reset, this is there. If the rails are not standard gauge, we know what to do to reduce the cost and then the chaos on our streets. Anyway, gentlemen, United Party.
Yes. United for real.
United Party. When we say it, what do you respond?
Ghana first.
United Party.
Ghana first.
United Party.
Party, papa.
Well, I have in studio with me Richard SUMAH. He's the Deputy General Secretary of the United Party. Richard, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Last week I had I think it was your boss?
Yeah.
Yes, he was here. Yes. We had a very good discussion.
I watched it true and true.
So yes, you are a week old, or a week and a half old now.
Yes, a week and a half old, possibly. Yeah, a week and a half old.
Okay. I also have with me ENOCH AFOAKWAH. He's a member of the NPP's legal team. ENOCH, to the NPP.
KOJO, I say a very good morning to you.
Good morning to you too.
And a very good morning to Richard SUMAH, the acting Deputy General Secretary.
Okay, well, you've not had the election, so everybody is interim, except the founder.
He's also an interim position holder.
But he's the founder.
Of course, obviously.
Yes, so for that one.
You know, I'm told from the news I read, they have a provisional license. So
yes.
A provisional is not a license. So it means that there are some things that they need to do right. So until those things are done right, in accordance with the electoral laws of Ghana, they become a fully-fledged political party. They are in the process. But we wish them well because insofar as we are in a multi-party democracy, certainly we will need political actors such as political parties to be able to advance policies to shape our nation. And over the years, we have seen a lot of political parties in Ghana, all contributing in furtherance of national development. So we wish them well.
Right.
We welcome them to the table to advance the cause of Ghana.
Okay. So we would also be joined in studio by Ni Pakpo SAMOA ADDO. He's also a member of the NDC legal team. We are being joined on Zoom by Dr. ABDUL-JALILU ATEKU. He is a lecturer for political science at the University of Ghana. Hello, Doc. Good morning. Doc, can you hear me? Okay. Okay, right. So I'm sure when Doc joins, I would introduce him. But gentlemen, let's start with a quick reflection on our, for some of us, our mother. For some of you, will be your big your big sister, the former first lady. In fact, if we can say she's the longest, has been the longest serving first lady. When you heard the news, ENOCH, what was your feeling?
Yeah, I was extremely devastated when I heard the news of the passing to eternity of the mother of the Fourth Republic. I called her the mother of the Fourth Republic because it was under her leadership as the First Lady of the Republic that the Fourth Republic was birthed. So insofar as the Fourth Republic was birthed under her reign, I call her the mother of the Fourth Republic, Nana Konadu Rawlings, Her Excellency. May her soul rest in perfect peace. She was an embodiment of women empowerment. She was a gender champion, a known voice as far as women empowerment were concerned. She kept her words, her policies, and her will throughout as former first lady, until she stepped out of office. She kept to herself. She was a fashionist. And ever since knowing or seeing her as an Abdul-JALILU Rawlings, there's one thing that you can't take away from her: her brand.
Kaba and slit.
The kaba and slit
with
the headgear
and
the, how do you call it, the waist belt.
Yes.
She had a cloth designed waist belt. In every costume that she puts on, you see that brand of Nana Konadu Rawlings that reflects her personality, that reflects her person. And she never shied away from what she believed in as far as the empowerment of women, as far as the rights of women, as far as building the gaps of equity, as far as putting the voice of women across the political divides on national stage, on the international stage, and wherever she finds herself. Her desires to empower the Ghanaian women and the African women kept ringing. That light, the flame of activism in women empowerment, she never dimmed it until her untimely death 2 days ago. On it, I say, Mama, may your soul rest in eternal peace. You've done what Napoleon couldn't do. You've contributed your side to national development. Everyone has his or her bad side, but the positive sides, I believe, outweigh that of the negativities that we portray. And she stood for her principles. She died with her principles. I see her as a messiah that institutions across the globe, especially in Ghana, like the University of Ghana with Department of Sociology and ADDO, should have a chair in studying. Because when you go to, let's say, the Legon Center for International Affairs and Diplomacy, they have all sorts of programs as far as, how do you call it? Is it women empowerment and those kind of things are concerned? I believe there should be a chair established in her honor for people, how she was able to use the political stage to be able to drum home the issue of women empowerment, using her 31st December Women's Movement, using her functional role as the First Lady of the Republic of Ghana to be able to advance and harness the voice of women to the highest stage of our land. I believe that it's as a result of some of her activism that has resulted in Chief Justice of the Republic being a female, her leadership, Madam Georgina Chudura Ifwa-Wood, her leadership, Getraraba Isaba Tokono, who, as a result of some eventual circumstances, lingering controversies, of which she's still battling in court. I will not comment on those matters. Then other ladies making reigns in the Republic. We believe that she has really lighted a candle of activism to empower women, to empower various women to be able to put their names on the national map and the world stage to be able to further the cause of women. So our mother has done her bit.
Yes.
And I believe that we are in a state of national mourning and that we should all reflect in the positive deeds and what she stood for and what she has contributed to advance the cause of our nation. And that when the final day of her funeral is scheduled, I believe that the whole nation should join hands with the family and be able to ensure that she's given a befitting farewell and a befitting burial for her contribution to the cause of our nation called Ghana.
Right. Thank you. So, Richard.
Yeah.
For me, two things stand out for me. Growing up, there was Beijing Conference, and in Ghana, the name Beijing Conference was synonymous to Nana Akufo-Addo because of what was returned to the nation after this conference, and the kind of, like AFOAKWAH mentioned, the kind of revolution that came as a result of this conference. As a young person, what strikes you or what strikes you when you hear the name Nana Akufo-Addo?
Well, first of all, I would like to say a very good morning to Ghanaians, to your cherished viewers, to the entire leadership of the United Party, the new baby on the block. Like we often said, democracy is a collective responsibility, or building a nation is a collective responsibility of all and sundry. Therefore, we must all endeavor to participate in the political ecosystem to contribute to how we can develop a country that we can be proud of, a country that we can bequeath to the next generation, a country that can be proud of what they've been able to achieve. But just to go back a little bit and watch the video that you showed, the reflection, I don't know whether it's an issue we'll talk about.
No, I'll give you an opportunity.
Yeah,
to
so on that score, I think if you get to that, then let me leave it at that. But for Nana Akufo-Addo Agyeman, she is an epitome of organizational mobilization capacity. If you talk about somebody who has the tenacity, somebody who has the willpower, somebody who has the energy, somebody who has the people at heart, somebody who was in every corner of this country, especially in the rural communities, setting up all these 31st December market, setting up all these 31st December schools, setting up the daycare centers. At least she has demonstrated that she has sufficient love for the country. Flaws. But you cannot take it away from Nana Akufo-Addo that she has played a pivotal role in the democracy of this democracy that we are practicing today. Because like it's often said, behind every successful man, there is a woman. And if you can say Jerry John Rawlings, may so rest in peace, has been successful in some of the things he did by laying the foundation that we are all building on today, that today we can be proud to say that we are about 32 years plus in practicing democracy. In as much as we are still young in that space, we believe that he has really laid the foundation. So Nana Akufo-Addo Agyeman obviously played a pivotal role in supporting the husband to do what he did. But then again, life is transient. Everybody is going to die. The only thing is that it is often not the best when you feel like the person is healed and healthy. The person is okay. She was seen yesterday. She was seen everywhere. And within the next few hours, you say she's gone. So that is what normally brings about a shock and a surprise. But as for the death by itself, we are all going to taste death. So whether you go today or you go tomorrow, it's neither here nor there. So we would like to extend our condolences to the entire family, to the Republic of Ghana, to the NDC fraternity. In as much as she broke away with the party, she hasn't been in the good terms with the party. They have their own internal frictions, but nevertheless, she is a major block within the NDC fraternity. So the NDC has lost a giant. Ghana has lost a giant. Yes, we remember her for some of the things. For me, the likes of me, I remember that vividly during this Sawan Canary battle. And you know, it was a major issue in this country. I don't know how far the canary is doing now, whether it is dead or it is still alive and running, that I can't tell. But obviously,
my reflections one of these days.
Yes, but obviously, that was one of the things that we had a major conversation around as a country because of this, the thing that Rawlings was doing, trying to sell all the state assets and all this. But that is a matter for another day. But nevertheless, she did a good job, and we thank her for all she has done for the country. Ghana will mix her, the women will mix her, everybody will miss her. But the last of it is that she has left a legacy. And like my senior brother said, the brand, the costume, she identified with Africa. She believes she's an African. She believes she's an Ashanti. She believes that she has the culture. She has something that the youth should learn. Today, we are dressing half naked and all this. But if you have a former president who has been dressing decently as a Ghanaian, it is surprising that most ladies don't emulate people like this, and they are dressing half naked, walking the streets. So we would like to let them understand that emulate people like this, dress well, dress decently, and be a torchbearer for the Republic. So may her soul rest in peace. May God grant her an eternal rest.
May God grant her an eternal rest. Lee, welcome. What on Wednesday, one of my colleagues was at, I think, the Christ the King Church, and she saw the late Nana Kunidu with the son. I think they were attending a funeral, and in fact, the person even took a picture and put on one of our pages that, oh, this woman doesn't age. And the next day, the woman that doesn't age, we just hear. In fact, when it started, it took my GTV to let me believe that it's true, because when I saw it, I knew it was, Ghana, they can kill you 20 times before you actually die. And so, but when I saw it, I was like, wow, less than 24 hours. How did you take this? I mean, being in the NDC, how did you take this?
Well, good morning to your wonderful listeners and viewers out there. As my brothers have said, death is inevitable. And so, and I just came from the funeral of my class 4 teacher. I had to go and pay my respects this morning.
Class 4 teacher?
Yes,
no,
class 4,
yes,
yeah. So
that's good.
I felt that at least I had to just go and pay my respects to everybody before I came to the studio. And so it just tells you that whatever it is, all of us will leave the stage one way or the other. What I think is important is, what purpose did you live? Or did you live your purpose, if you want to put it whatever you want to put it? And did you live meaningfully? And did you leave a legacy? Would you be able to say that, oh, having left the stage of life, we will have something to discuss? I was in the meeting when the news broke, and because of where I sit, I was privileged to know much earlier, before the official statement was made. And she also happens to be a very, very good friend of my auntie, who is in the United States. And so I quickly sent her a message, and she was very sad. You know, if you lived through the 80s and the 90s, you literally lived with the Madame Kunedu and her family, because there was no other, first family in this country throughout the 80s. And I remember one of the things you would be looking forward to is what dress you wear when it's either June 4th or 31st, or 6th March, because her sense of fashion,
the three occasions.
Her sense of fashion was unique, and the rumor was that she never repeated a kaba and she was graceful, I read the speech, the statement issued by my general secretary, and it was a very reconciliatory statement by Mr. Fifi Kweti, who made it clear that she is considered to be the mother of the NDC. And just as we have designated one day, the birthday of the founder, as one of our commemorative days, I'm hoping that we will find it within us as a party, even though she left and formed her own party, to accord her that formal title, even though it is an informal title now, to accord her the formal title of the mother of the party, and to probably commemorate either her birthday or her death as a commemorative day. Because nobody can take away the contributions of Madame Kunedu to affirmative action in Ghana. I was listening to one of her interviews which kind of spoke to why she was inspired to do some of the things she did. And she said she went for a loan from the bank, and she was being told that it has to be guaranteed by a man. your husband or your father, and that back in the day, you couldn't take a loan without it being guaranteed by either your husband or your father, either the bill figure. So you could see what drove or what was inspired her to push, especially even with issues of inheritance. That was one of the major things that she will be remembered for, PNDC Law 111, where, especially with the matrilineal system, the widow and her children were heavily disadvantaged when it came to the inheritance of the late, especially the late spouse, who happened to be a man, because the account, this thing goes to the wafa and the nephew, and so the wife, the surviving wife and children were literally left out. And that law has changed the face of inheritance, especially without a will, And now it's give birth to the affirmative, and even the Beijing platform where we were talking about affirmative action for women, we had the affirmative action law that has been passed. So when it comes to women's empowerment, the story of Ghana cannot be written without Madam Nana Kunedu Agyeman-Rawlings, and even friends and foes alike. I was impressed to see President Kufuor at the family house, because it's factual that President Kufuor's, and it was under President Kufuor's regime that as a former first lady, first time she was prosecuted, and they later reconciled, during Daddy Lumbe's concert. And since then, they've been good friends. I mean, you could see them publicly, displaying a lot of warmth towards each other. The relationship between, that's the funny thing, the relationship between President Kufuor and President Rawlings never thawed. But the relationship between Madam Kunedu and President Kufuor was quite very, cordial, in public at least.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that the president has done well. 3 days of national mourning with our flags at half-mast, and we've been encouraged to remember her and discuss her legacy. I think it's the greatest honor that could be done to. And I know that definitely there will be a state burial in her name. I think that she, perhaps, if there was anybody who probably would have been the first president, female president of Ghana, she could easily have been the person, because she had all the qualities. Yeah. She was strong-willed. Even with young children, she would see her in the bush, championing 31st December, and that sometimes her work schedule and her husband's work schedule, you couldn't see the difference, and that spoke a lot, as a leader. So she'll be fondly remembered, she'll be fondly remembered. There's nobody who is perfect, and I always say that. But in death, we normally try and remember your positives. Yes.
Right. Thank you. For those of you who would also like reading, you can look out for her book, It Takes a Woman.
Part one.
That's the part one.
I hope they were able to publish the other parts.
It speaks to her life from the 1982 to 2000. So if you have the chance, you can please get that book and read. Dr. Jalilu is back. Doc, are you there? Hello, Doc. Can you hear me? Okay, I can't. Doc, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good, Doc. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm also doing very well.
So, Doc, just 30 seconds on your position when you heard of the death of the former First Lady. Just short, so we can go into the main issue.
All right. Yeah, I think it was so saddened to hear about the passing of our former First Lady, and then also a former member of the NDC and the founder of the NDP. I think it was very, very sad. I think the first president of the Fourth Republic, I think, died in November, if I remember, and then this is just also October. So it was a very sad one, and like my colleagues on the panels indicated, Nana Kunedu Agyeman-Rawlings died as one of the Ghana's most influential women or influential figures in Ghana. She used her position to advance the cause of women's development, the children's welfare, and national development as well, because if you look at the 31st December, especially when it was established somewhere in 1982, I mean, it was established to mobilize and empower women, especially in the rural areas, right, so that they could also participate in social and national development. So I think that, I mean, she had left a very good legacy, if you want to look at the contribution that she has made in all. I mean, Nee talked about the interstate succession law. The contribution of the PNDC law 111 itself is very huge. And so basically, so talking about the education, child welfare I mentioned, and all that. And also, you earlier talked about the Beijing platform that also sought to advance the cause of women and all that. And I think that, I mean, for most part from the 80s to 90s thereabout, I mean, you see the contribution. And for Nana Konadu Rawlings, it wasn't just about advancing the cause of women, right? So that is one aspect. And her own, I mean, contribution, participating in the political development, right? Serving as a vice chairman of the, of the NDC, and then founding a political party, contesting as the first female, president in the Fourth Republic, right, in 2012, contested again in 2016. I think that is huge. But she placed herself in a role to advance, to indicate to the women that you can aspire to be the best, just like any other person. And I think that we have lost a lot. Nee talked about the contribution, from the party, the government, the 3 days, declared 3 days mourning for her, very good, right? And I think that if the government can go further to immortalize Nana Konadu Rawlings, so that, that should be immortalized, right, in that perspective. I think that it is a good thing. We have lost, a very key figure in this republic. And then I send or express my condolences to the family, the NDC, the MPP, the NDP, and Ghanaians as a whole.
My team, the current agenda team, and then the Ghana Broadcasting would also extend our condolences to the family, to the children especially, because now they've lost both parents. So we wish them well, and as a country we'll continue to stay with them, pray with them, and keep them strong. The memory of their parents would live with us forever, and the lessons learned from both of them would also live with us forever. I pray that the advocacy of Nana Konadu would not only be word of mouth or things that we speak about, but we would see it in every aspect of our lives. Sometimes I get sad when I watch movies where a woman can only be successful in the movie when she meets a rich man. I get sad. Majority of our Ghanaian or African movies would have a young lady, the father would die, she has to sell or be hawking in traffic. One day a car would knock her down, then it's a rich man who would take her to the hospital, all of a sudden say, I want to promise you, and then there's success. That is not how we should portray women in society. One of the reasons why I don't really support the reading of the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I don't believe that there should be a case of a prince to make a woman better. But those are the things that I think we should reflect. Richard said something that behind a successful man is a woman. I don't subscribe to such things as a person. Unfortunately, I don't. But I think that advocacy should not just be, we say it and we applaud it. It should show in our life. Our movies should show. Music that we sing, where we make women look like they are subjects to men, are things that we need to, as a nation, speak against, to honor the memory of this great woman. May her soul continue to rest in perfect peace, and we will continue to bear the family in prayer. Well, gentlemen, so this week, Attorney General comes to tell us that the former CEO of the buffer stock, National Food and Buffer Stock Company, is being investigated. In fact, they have prepared his docket, if I heard correctly, and they've mentioned issues on money laundering, There's no offense like that. So what did the anyway? I'll come to you. So how he
unless the causing financial loss to the state. Maybe.
Okay. So since you've mentioned it, I hear people ask that why does the Attorney General not come read the charges like you've just said and leave it at that, but end up passing suggestive commentary that seems to suggest that the person has already been found guilty?
No, I think we should not be hypocrites in this country. Let's be factual. This is not the first time that public officials or public officers have been tried by any Attorney General. From 2000, NDC public officials were put before court. President ADDO, former president, was Attorney General. If I don't recall, in the Chachuchikata case, I remember a press conference he held when Mr. Chachuchikata won the fast track decision, the first round. And he described the decision of the court in a very interesting way, I don't want to repeat same. You understand? So, Attorney Generals after Attorney Generals have sought to explain and justify why they are filing these charges against specific individuals, or why they believe that the charges that they have filed have a certain merit. It does not mean that the person is guilty. Our constitutional position is very clear that until a court of competent jurisdiction has passed a verdict of guilty on a person, an accused person is presumed innocent. The only thing is that when you appear before the court may give you self-recognizance bail to appear, or it may impose conditions to ensure that you appear before the court. The mere fact that you have even been taken to court and you have bail conditions have been imposed upon you does not mean you are guilty. Do you understand? It's just to ensure that you would attend court. The process in terms of prosecution starts when charges are filed. You have been investigated, you have taken your statement, we call it the investigation caution statement. That's literally the first statement that is taken from an accused person or from a suspect. At that time, you're a suspect, basically. After the police have concluded investigations, they take their docket to the Attorney General's office for advice. The Attorney General may conclude that based upon the facts available to him, he believes that he can mount a prosecution against you. So he would direct the police to take the charge caution statement from you. You may choose to rely on your investigation caution statement, or you can still write and explain why you deny the charges that have been preferred against you. Once that is done, the docket is complete. The Attorney General files his charges in the court. Once that is filed, it's a public document. He can choose to write a public statement and say that I have charged A, B, C, and D, because once the charges are filed, it's a public document. You understand? So there's a duty imposed on him by Article 82. He is the one who initiates prosecution. So if he decides to put out the information, indeed, 296 says when you exercise your discretion in terms of exercising a discretion that has been given, and then power to prosecute or not to prosecute is a discretionary power. You are minded to give reasons why you are exercising that discretionary power, one way or the other. So if the Attorney General, in best practice, and this is not anything new, I've given you examples in this under the current dispensation, under the Fourth Republic. Attorney Generals in this republic have sought to give reasons why they have gone into court in respect of particular matters. Even in the United States and others, when they start a prosecution, you come out and tell the public that I'm charging this person with this and this offense. When you finish, what are the facts in support of why you say the person should face these charges? You can't just come and say, let's say I look at my brother here and say, look, I don't like his face. And so because of that, I am professing or I'm preferring charges against him. You tell the public that, look, these are the facts upon which I rely. What you cannot do is to say that the person is guilty. And I want to ask anyone to provide me evidence where Dr. Ayine has stated in this is that he, Dr. Ayine, as Attorney General, has found this person guilty. He knows he has no such power. Do you understand? He knows he has no such power. What he does is to present why, as Attorney General, he has exercised his discretion to what? To prosecute this person. The same right that he has is also afforded the accused person and his lawyers. So, many a time, my good friend, former Attorney General, Mr. Godfrey Dami, will on the stairs of the court after court sitting, give literally an interview and tell you what happened in court and why.
You said that one is after court.
No, hold on. The venue is different. Everybody chooses where and how he wants to announce what he wants to announce. After he files charges, he will tell you why he's filed the charges. He grants interviews. He granted interviews in court, at the premises of the court, even in his office. He does that. The point I'm making is that the fact that an Attorney General is exercising his right to inform Ghanaians by way of, because remember, as I said, he exercised a discretion under 296. The power to prosecute is a discretionary power. Once you exercise it, under 296, you are under a duty to give reasons why you've exercised that discretion. And so if he decides to tell you why he has exercised that discretion, that is not to say that you are guilty. That's why I'm saying that I want anyone to tell me when Dr. Ayine has stood before any press conference and said that accused person A is guilty, accused person B is guilty. Those are the words that if any professional artist that, look, you are guilty of this offense, guilty of that offense, that is will be clearly unprofessional.
So even if the wording suggests guilt, because you don't use the term guilty.
Hold on, my brother. That is an interpretation. Our constitutional provisions are clear. It is only a court of competent jurisdiction that can declare a person guilty or not. I can go to court as an Attorney General and prefer charges against somebody. I believe in my case. And that's why I'm saying that Attorney General after Attorney General, this is not the first time, have tried to tell the public, inform the public why they have laid charges. Even our president at our annual Bar Association meetings, in his fight against corruption, outlines in his speech during President Akufo-Addo's time, he will come to our bar conference and list the number of NDC officials that have been put before court and tell us that these are efforts by his government to fight corruption, and that at the end of the day, this is the amount of money that is even in contemplation to be retrieved from those prosecutions. Does that mean that he has said that those people are guilty? He said they are before court and he's justified. These are corrupt public officials. Until they are proven guilty, that one is the province of the court. So, to me, the next point is this.
Hold on, before you go on. Last week,
yes,
we played a video of the president saying, and you don't use the word, because you said that now is the use of the word guilty.
Yes.
When he came to the Akunta mining,
yes,
the president, we played a video here where the president said that Akunta mining,
yes,
is not so and so.
He was not involved in this.
Yes. So even though, would you say that the president in that instance did not say something?
Our criticism of that particular issue was about a president who was interfering with investigations. That's a different matter. Somebody, a Ministry of Ministry of Mines, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, has stated that Akunta mine is in a forest reserve without requisite permit. Then the president comes and says that that is happening. Which investigative body won't be able to contradict the president? Never. Come on, that is a different optic. This one is an Attorney General who, after reviewing the docket, has exercised his power of prosecution and has filed a case in court. Comes to a press conference and says that I have preferred charges against this. These are the reasons why I'm preferring the charges against this person. They will have their day in court. These are the facts available to me in which I believe that I will do the press conference. The accused person also issued a statement on his Facebook page denying the charges and saying that he will contest them. In fact, he's directing his lawyers to go ahead and take the necessary legal steps to secure his reputation, which, if you and I understand the language, means that he's going to even take defamation action against the Attorney General.
Which goes to confirm the fact that what the Attorney General did was defaming him.
Hold on. That is the person's right. So that is what is beautiful about the law. The Attorney General is telling you that these are my facts that I have. I didn't hear and in fact, he doesn't owe anybody an explanation. If I were even a defense counsel, I would never advise my client to be responding to the Attorney General in open, because I don't know the evidence the Attorney General has. And anything I say can even be used against me in the court of law. So if the Attorney General has exercised his right, and the person who, in fact, in the case of Mr. Ken Ufoyata, he actually went to court. He filed a defamation case against the Attorney General, which is pending. So for me, let us not make a fetish about an Attorney General, and it is not the first time. That's the first thing I want everybody to understand. This is not the first time an Attorney General has announced the prosecution of accused persons and has given the reasons why he is prosecuting those persons. This is not the first time. Okay. That's the first point. So Dr. Yina has done nothing new. He's done nothing wrong. He believes that he has a case. He has announced the charges. He has filed the charges. It is for you to come to court and come and what? And come and defend yourself. Okay. If indeed what he has done, you believe that is what we, in law we will say is prejudicial to the trial, you raise it in the court by way of a motion, or you tell the court that, look, Mr. My Lord, the conduct of the prosecution, in my opinion, is prejudicial to the trial of this case. Come by motion. The court will look at it and decide whether to tell the Attorney General to recuse himself, whether to represent. Title, we as a political party come to power, and on our manifesto we say we are going to fight corruption. We have designed a program called Aura. We say we have evidence of allegations of corruption. We have filed every day. You work. When the Attorney General comes and holds a press conference and tells you that this is what I have and this is what I'm going to do, that one to wait. What do you want the Attorney General to do?
Okay. I call the criminal enterprise operated by Mr. Abdul-Wahab and his collaborators at the buffer stock the Rambo in the jungle. Not only because of the huge amount of money at stake, but because of the fact that while food suppliers were wailing and gnashing their teeth due to failure to pay them for supplies to the buffer stock, and while our school kids were being denied nutrition under the school feeding program for lack of funds, Mr. Abdul-Wahab and his collaborators were busy lawlessly looting funds meant for the program. In your view, would you, where people are allowed to form their own impression, does this not ab initio?
And one other thing, just for my brother.
You let me
we don't just no. Where's one other thing? Unlike our counterparts in the US, we don't do criminal trials for most of these matters by jury.
Yes.
So normally when people, you hear people complain in respect of the way we are hearing some of our, it means that you are attempting to taint the pool of jurors. So yes, you put out these statements to prejudice the mind of potential jurors who may be sitting on their case. In this particular case, the judge is the sole judge of.
But the judges are also parties.
Why do you think they were the weak? To be deaf and dumb. They're weak, so they are not supposed to listen.
They look at the sentinels.
I mean, we even know that our judges now read animal farm books, so we know.
Exactly. You know, in respect of that case, I was a lawyer in that matter.
Yes. And he busted the judge outside the court. He was lucky he was not held in contempt.
I know about him. I disagree with the judge.
It was strong comment. It was very strong.
Anyway, so Enoch, if you hear this and you hear that, well, it's the Attorney General's view. This is how he seeks to make the public aware of the case he's prosecuting. As an opposition party, what is your position? How do you feel?
When I wear two lens, I'm a lawyer and a member of the opposition party, as you have rightly articulated. And that's, under these circumstances, I wear my legal lens to do justice to the subject matter on the table. KOJO, it should be noted that the Attorney General of the Republic, he is the Attorney General who exercises a constitutional mandate under Article 88 of the Constitution to prosecute criminal offences in respect of our Criminal Offences Act and all other enactments that prescribe criminal punishment and sanctions in this republic. Again, he is also a Minister of Justice to ensure that the rights of accused persons, the rights of citizens and the rights of the people within the jurisdiction of this country are protected, and that adequate facilities are afforded persons accused in respect of criminal matters and persons even in civil matters. That's why we have the Legal Aid Commission and other bodies in furtherance of justice and in furtherance of the rule of law. So as Minister of Justice, he is taking the resources that the judicial service and the courts need to be able to ensure effective and efficient justice delivery system is delivered, and to ensure that we have better facilities and opportunities to ensure the attainment of the goals of the Republic. The fourth one is that he is also a politician. So at sometimes he wears his political lens. This is where it conflicts with some of the provisions of the law. Our constitution is clear under Article 19 that the right to an accused person to a fair trial ought to be respected, and that there are clear procedures established under the Constitution, not even under an act of parliament, under the Constitution, the parent legislation or the parent law that establishes this nation called Ghana. Upon this, I respectfully believe that the learned Attorney General, sometimes in exercising his discretion under Article 296, to be transparent to the Republic in terms of prosecutorial accountability and those things, ought to also respect the rights of persons he claimed to be suspects that he is holding, or he claimed to be accused persons that he's prosecuting before the courts of the Republic of Ghana. KOJO, if the learned Attorney General uses words like criminal enterprise operated by, any person listening to a learned Attorney General upon which the person forms an opinion clearly arrives at one conclusion: that crime has been committed.
And the person is a criminal.
And that it was committed that no other person than the person the Attorney General named.
That's why they're in court. That's why he's charged them.
And that the person is not afforded the opportunity to also respond in like manner. The reason you are before the court and our court system is adversarial in nature is that the Attorney General has an opportunity to make his case in court. And the accused person also has an opportunity, whether or not the court calls upon the accused person to respond to the charges or the case that has been made against him, whether a submission of no case is upheld, or whether a case, the court directs that you have a case to answer, so answer.
A press conference, the only thing is that you don't want to do it.
Answer is concerned. It's in the court. So I believe that judicial accountability, as far as the merits of the Attorney General's case, reserves within the walls of the court. And that to afford the accused persons the opportunity to also listen to the case that the accused person has against them, and also respond accordingly if they are called upon to respond. You see, this is an Attorney General. You know, for the records, I am a member of the legal team of Mr. Benedict Siako, affectionately called Mr. Wuntumi. And under the circumstances when the learned Attorney General was delivering his prosecutorial accountability to the people of the Republic of Ghana, in the ramble, in the jungle, he mentioned that my client, Mr. Benedict Siako, has approached with a proposal of a plea bargain. Quickly, I called my client. I said, I am listening to the learned Attorney General. And in fact, he mentions that you've taken this step, of which client denied in toto that he has never attempted any sort of a plea bargain, and that we were all before the court where he pleaded not guilty to the several counts of charges that has been leveled against him.
I think last week he came up on this set when we were discussing it. I think one person mistook that for the National Service Authority.
The minister, the former minister.
And it was shocking and surprising. Under the circumstance, the matter is before the court. And even the Attorney General stated that he directed Wuntumi that whatever plea bargain agreement, whatever they have, they should we should put it, address it to the court and the court should direct. Of which we have not taken that step. We are even yet to be served with disclosures. The evidence that the Attorney General, the relevant documentation, Neo is a former prosecutor and he knows this very well, that in a criminal trial, the burden is on the states to prove the guilt of the accused person beyond all reasonable doubt. And the Supreme Court has ruled in the case of the Republic versus Bafuboni that the relevant material evidence that the state will be relying on to prosecute the accused persons should be made available to the accused persons to prepare their defense. We have not been served with disclosures to even study to know the merits of the Attorney General's case or the merit of the charges that the Attorney General has preferred against our client, to even attempt to even have conference with our client to inform our client of what is on the table and to take even a decision. We have not gotten there, and all you hear is that there is a ramble in the jungle press conference where our client has been named as attempting a plea bargaining. In fact, with celestial respect to the land Attorney General, that was unfair. It's an unfair prejudice. Similarly, you remember that Madam Gitiowari Abuaji has been charged before the court. Formally, formal charges have been preferred against her in court. The charge sheet has been filed at the registry of the court. So which means that it has taken a judicial form. It is not a case under investigation. Now you have filed before the court, and the court is seized with jurisdiction. And that making some commentaries, as far as these matters are concerned, trying to try the accused persons in the court of public opinion, knowing that the judges are also members of society. One, awakens an unfair prejudice against them. Two, taints their credibility. Three, what does the Attorney General seek to achieve in this? We need to be accountable as politicians to the people of Ghana. We need to walk the people of Ghana through the process, because in a democracy, it is the rule by the people. But as lawyers, we know what to do. That in the exercise of your discretionary power under Article 296, the Constitution is clear that it should not be exercised in an arbitrary or capricious manner. It talks of an arbitrariness, capriciousness. These are the caveats. These are the injunction that the Constitution places on the exercise of discretionary powers. In giving reasons, you should not fall into the pit hole of arbitrariness. You should not fall into the pit hole of capriciousness. This is a clear blueprint constitutional injunction placed on constitutional bodies or persons charged with the responsibility of exercising discretion in such grave manner. So, insofar as the land Attorney General wears almost about 4 hats, he's a man of 4 hats. A politician, a minister of justice, the prosecutor of the state, and the leader of the bar. He must lead by example. He must lead by example. Some words that he puts out at least ought to be weighed, taking into cognizance the rights of the accused persons that he's arraigning, or that he has arraigned, or that he has put before court, or that he intends to put before the court. The media trial ongoing is becoming one too many. And under the circumstances, it can occasion a grave liability to the state. What befalls a man when the person, you go to court and you fail in respect of your case, and again, you are sued in respect of a defamation, some pronouncement that you made to the public against against an accused person, of which the accused person takes the matter to the court, praying for some restitution. Who bears the cost? It's the state. The same consolidated fund that is depleted, the same consolidated fund that we need resources to be able to fix our deplorable roads, to fix our polluted waters as a result of illegal mining, Galamsey, that they are now telling us is what? Chemicalization and what. We will come there. We will come there.
You're talking about
You've left the zone.
I'm not leaving the zone. You see? KOJO, it's sad. We believe in political accountability. And it is fair that we credit the Attorney General with his addresses to the public, trying to walk the people of Ghana through the process that he's undertaking. but he's not beyond reproach that some of the steps and pronouncements that he makes, if it is becoming prejudicial, or if it sounds prejudicial, if it will occasion a grave liability to the state, he needs to be cautioned. Right. He needs to be directed. Right. He needs to avert his mind on same, so that we all do justice to all manner of persons in accordance with law. And again, let me land on that. You see, people are saying that these are political trial, and I must admit that prosecution means here is political. Who exercises the power of prosecution? It is a political appointee called the Attorney General, who has been tasked with the prosecutorial powers under Article 883 of the 1992 Constitution.
The special prosecutor is not
tasked with the prosecutorial power. So he takes political decisions. When somebody steals a bunch of plantain and he's prosecuted, because the person is not a political actor or uses the mantle of leadership, the first week, his welcome exercise. What was the welcome exercise of the learned Attorney General? Was to exercise his prerogative, right, under the Constitution and under the Criminal and Other Offences Procedure Act of 1960 at 30, by causing the withdrawal of charges against named persons perceived to be members of his political party, entering nolle prosequi to end the prosecutions of some persons perceived to be aligned with his political ideology, philosophy, and political party. So having cleared them and begin to arraign political members perceived to be his political opponents in this manner.
Atufasi is not perceived.
No. Whether he is, to my side, I have not seen their party membership. I have not. Have you seen Atufasi's party membership?
Well, I believe that I believe that in NDC, if you do not, you are not a member, you cannot stand as an MP. So
it is only a belief. It is only a belief.
Please.
I see them as perceived political parties because as a lawyer, I don't have their party membership cards to speak authoritatively that they are members of the National Democratic Congress.
So
but charges were withdrawn.
When the NDC officials...
Nolle prosequi were filed. And now, perceived political opponents are being arraigned before courts. And
you see,
the charges leveled against them, they are being prejudiced in an unfair manner through press conference, series of press conferences in this magnitude.
Let me go to Doc.
Yes, you see, my brother falls into the very trap that he accuses the Attorney General of doing. If we were to go by the logic that these were supposed to be political trials, okay, then the Attorney General should not have any evidence in support of his case. He should just arrange them because they are MPP officials. It is because he wants to make sure that you don't accuse him of taking people to court with no justification. That is why he takes his time.
I think that's
and gives you painstaking evidence.
You should remember that we don't have the PD, the Prevention Detention Act of 1916. So in any sort of prosecution, whether there is merit or not, you need some semblance of evidence. So you need notes. What evidence is? Evidence becomes evidence when it is fairly admitted in court. That becomes evidence.
Yes.
All this that Attorney General is saying need notes that in law, these are all hearsay evidence. It's hearsay. Until it's admitted in evidence, it is hearsay.
Doc.
It is outside the remit of the court.
The accused person who
it is outside the remit of the court.
Okay.
It is outside the court.
Gentlemen,
it has not been admitted in evidence. So you can't call this evidence. It's hearsay.
Okay, gentlemen, it's hearsay. It's...
My brother, if you know that what the Attorney General is saying is not true, you have to hold a press conference. I haven't bought this what?
But the Attorney General has an advantage of a bullet pulpit which other people don't have.
Oh, come on. Are you telling me that the accused person cannot hold a press conference and you media, you don't cover that for free?
Excuse me, 1 minute. 1 minute.
All of you are asking for 1 minute.
He knows strategically, he will never advise any of his clients who has been taken through, who he has taken through, and to go and hold a press conference. He knows. And he knows why he would do it.
This is why Justice Jones Maulom Duchi, when he was sitting as an additional High Court judge in the Republic versus Prince Augustus, stated that the state with all its resources should not be allowed to gamble with the lives of ordinary citizens.
Somebody is gambling with his life.
Justice Duchi said this And this is what is happening. He saw this far ago. He was clairvoyant.
I asked my friend a question.
He was clairvoyant.
Why would he not hold a press conference? And he knows.
So, Doc, on this issue, Doc, my question is, should we start
we will not do media trials,
considering lifestyle audits for public officials? Because if you see the things that were listed in the when the Attorney General was having the address, the kind of things that were listed as being acquisitions out of the proceeds of the rubble of in the jungle, should we start advocating for a lifestyle audit of public officials, specifically those whose tenure of office is tied to that of a certain government?
Yeah, thank you, KOJO. I think I agree with you in my views that we have witnessed over the period and also now experiencing some of these things. I think that if we have lifestyle audits or we conduct lifestyle audits, I think in my view it will be okay. Even though we already have a situation where, appointees are required to declare their assets and all that. But if you look at the situation, we are still experiencing, despite the fact that they do all those things, and yet we still have these things happening. So I think that it's important that once you are going into the public space as an appointee of a government, for example, I think that it is important that, and we can even extend it to others that are not directly into politics, but they also undertake some of those political duties. So that we will have to do that. I think that as we are looking at these things, we also look at how some of the other, in other jurisdictions, how they've been able to do in order to help themselves when they are in situations like this. Okay. So, for example, if I look at in the United Kingdom, for example, somewhere in 2022, they introduced, because of the drug issues, money laundering, tax evasions, and what have you. So they put together an act, what they call the POCA, Proceeds of Crime Act. Okay. So even though they look at the European Convention on Human Rights, whose Article 6 emphasizes that what the lawyers call the presumption of innocence, that an accused person should be proved beyond, based on law and that kind of thing. But they were able to fashion out, introduce what they call the reverse onus or reverse burden provisions in their, in their laws. All right. So that if a law, for example, that has to do with corruption, okay, because when I listened to the Attorney General, he made specific decisions. He said that this, particular person who is of interest or who has been investigated, his salary is 28,000 or so, and they were able to buy. He was able to buy about 1.6. Entire salary. So if you look at it over the period, right, 28,000. So how has the person been? So in the UK, for example, the state agencies, the police, HMRC, border forces and all that, they can confiscate, or what we call it to become a recoverable property, right? A recoverable property is something that is suspected of being bought by, from proceeds of crime. Okay, so now they move, even though there's that presumption of innocence, but they were able to fashion it in such a way that, the accused, person or the person of interest, the person they are investigating, you have to prove this is your salary. You're able to buy A, B, and C. So from where do you get the proceeds to be able to do that? And they can, even though so they do not even look at, if you look at the standard of proof, it is just about the accused who always just have to prove it by the normal civil procedure that the court will normally adopt, right? So you have to indicate, I bought this property A, B, and C, because they are saying that presumption of innocence is not against, or does not contravene presumption of fact. So it's just the fact. Where did you get this? All right, but they can seize that property, and then they will go to court, and then the court will have to maybe authorize that for the next period until the investigations are done. In our situation, I don't know what is happening. So I think that in my view, yes, lifestyle audit is very important. We must do that. And I think that if we can also begin to introduce some of the reverse onus or reverse burden provisions in our constitutions, and then but in the administration of in the court can establish or have a fair and a balanced way of interpreting this, right, or implementing some of these provisions without infringing the presumption of innocence, something that is so dear to the core of criminal trials and all that. So I agree with you that I think if we begin to do these things, I think it will help, because if you have, it was under the PNDC, the lifestyle and others, and a whole lot of things, but because there was no fine bar, because it was not based on law and that kind of thing. So even though some of those things are very positive, but if you are not careful in implementation, you may step on or violate human rights. But I think that a good balance can be established. You can have a fair balance where you have, people, because if my salary is 15,000 cedis, and yet I'm able to buy a property, $3 million, then I should be able to, to state that, oh yes, I bought this property from these proceeds, all right? So the state, if we can look at some of the provisions of our laws and then see how we can tighten it. So because I have heard, we normally pride ourselves that we are very good in passing laws or policies. The problem is the implementation. It means that, in my view, I still think that there's a problem with the passing of those laws, right? Because if you pass laws and then you are not able to implement them effectively, so and some of the trials, sometimes they take very long period of time. So at a certain point in time, even citizens will even lose track and lose confidence in the judicial system. So I think that, and I'm happy recently from the president, I think just last week on this program, when we were there, I think he told us that the Attorney General was working towards ensuring that they will have, trials and all that. And I think the president said, we even talk about the fact that if some courts can be set aside to be able to deal, with it, so that they'll be able to move instead of the piecemeal approach that are often associated with it. And then the president indicated that the judiciary will do something like that in order to facilitate some of these things. So I think that it will help us. In my view, I do not think that I will blame the Attorney General in any way, because things that have to do with certain crimes, corruption, financial crimes, and other money laundering, and looking at what is happening in our forest, the Galamsey and all that. So I think that we need to tighten some of our legislations so that we should not, because sometimes someone can take money. It means that someone can take money, a politician or whatever, that you find yourself, you're supposed to work for the benefit of the people. You take money that is supposed to be for maybe water project or to do something, and then now the state, all right, will not have to come and prove you that, yes, you did A, B, and C. So I think that if we can also move part of the burden to the to people that are of interest or that are being investigated for some of these financial crimes, corruption, and others, I think that it will also help us to facilitate, the judicial process. Yes.
Richard.
Yeah.
We hear all the time asset declaration. Yeah. Recently the president charged all his appointees and to declare. Now, if what we are hearing, it's yet to be decided in court, but if what we are hearing turns out to be true, does this not make, for want of a better term, foolish of this whole talk of asset declaration? Because in the full glare, we can put the, if I can have the infographics again, the cost of properties that are being alleged to have been procured by one person and the spouse. I call them one person.
Yeah.
What's the use of asset declaration if this still can happen?
Well, first of all, let us admit that this country called Ghana is completely engulfed with corruption. And over the years, we have attempted to fight corruption, but we are fighting it from different fronts. And most often, it's also said that there is no smoke without fire. So it will be difficult for you to say that an Attorney General can hold a press conference, put out information which he has no sufficient knowledge about or he has no sufficient information on. And then again, once you become a public servant, you are a political appointee, you have lost every right to privacy. That must be established. That he needs to carry the country along by informing us adequately as to what is happening, what he intends to do, and what he wants to achieve with all these steps. I think we need to applaud him. Because you see, until we're able to bring the country along, we carry everybody along to understand what is going on, then we can be able to start fighting corruption. So if you look at the allegation that has been leveled against the former Buffer Stock CEO and all the property that is accused of have been able to procure with proceeds from corrupting or corrupt-related activities, then it is mind-boggling. It is for us to look into this issue and find out how are we going to find solution to it. The lawyers have spoken, they've spoken from legal perspectives, but we are speaking from the common man's knowledge. So, as a matter of fact, we are of the view that what happened to the Cecilia Dapa case? What happened to the Cecilia Dapa case? The reason why we are not fighting or we are not winning the war against corruption is that when the element of proof is incumbent upon the accuser or the state, then that's why we cannot win any who has been accused of procuring all these properties illegally. The burden of proof has to be on him to defend it, justify it, by any means necessary to say that, yeah, these are properties that I've acquired and I've acquired them legitimately. I've acquired them through accumulation of my salaries. I've accused them through loans. I've accused them through remittances that my cousins, my uncles, anybody has sent to me, or I have business ventures that are making so much money, therefore I can purchase all these things. Then the burden of proof is on him. But if the burden of proof is on the state, it is becoming too much of a challenge for us. That is why many corruption cases, we are not able to find the head to it. So we are still proposing that let us look into that aspect. And you see, China, that is what China does. The burden of proof is on you, the accused. So at the end of the day, if you are not able to defend how you procure all the things that they've leveled against you, you are jailed, you are hanged. You are, you know, the punitive measures against corruption is so dire, is so severe that the thought of it alone will scare you. But here, we have not even introduced something called plea bargain.
But I mean, in this country some time ago, the punitive measures against corruption was firing squad. It still did not scare.
That is why I'm saying that it's a systemic failure. It's a systemic failure and then sustainability. You see, you don't do it today to others. For instance, those firing squad issues were issues that had to do with the revolution. Okay? When people were accused of taking the loan, they were accused of this and that. Yeah, Rawlings meant it well. The entire AFRC, they meant it well to put some level of fear in the society. Like, look, if you go corrupt or you still state asset, we are going to go after you. You could die or you could be hanged. But have you been able to sustain it? Have you been able to sustain it? And even the cry of the public themselves, the society that we are trying to protect, the society that they are trying to defend, that look, your monies or your taxes are being milked, your taxes are being siphoned into unnecessary areas. The same society, when you start to go for the hard punishment, you see they themselves coming after you. So do we really want to grow? Do we want to make progress? Do we really want to evolve as a country? Or we are willing to remain just as we are? But if you are not ready to remain just as we are, then there might be some revolution. There must be some radical means of fighting corruption head on. So for instance, before I go into office like the CEO of a buffer stock, the public knows me. The entire public, also community that I live in, they know me. They know the quantum of money I have. They know the cars I drive. They know the houses I own. And then after becoming a CEO of a buffer stock, and all of a sudden I've been able to metamorphose from the same person who could not even buy fuel or could not buy a 2-bedroom house, but now I can own mansions worth $1 million, then there is sufficient justification for us to believe that there is something untoward that is happening. But like I said, until we come together to understand that if you want to fight corruption, it might be a collective responsibility by all and sundry. That is the only way we can win the war against corruption. But this asset declaration thing, even the president said it, it is his goodwill that, yes, I want to do this. But the question I'll ask is that ever since the president said so, and he even said, he put a caveat on it, that if you are not declaring your asset as an appointee of mine, I'm going to dismiss you. As we speak today, how many has the president been able to dismiss? Is he trying to suggest to us that in his present administration, NDC, every appointee of the government or by the president has declared their assets.
Do you have any reason to doubt?
Well, until the frog dies before we know its full length. But as they are in power, there are certain information we wouldn't be privy to read. Like how when NPP was in power, this Buffer stock CEO, obviously per the law, he's supposed to declare his asset. Did he do so? Were we told whether he did or not? We weren't told until the government left power. Then all this manner of crime that they have committed is unfolding. But like you said, they say you are innocent until you are proven guilty in the court of competent jurisdiction. But the issue is that once you are a public person, we can also crucify you in the public space. We will not wait for the court to crucify you. We can also crucify you when we know that there is an element of truth in what the Attorney General is putting across. So as a matter of fact, respectfully to submit is that the only solution to this is that they should put a timeline. And everybody who goes into public service, their assets should be public. We should have a common platform, even if it's a website. We should all be able to visit it and see that this CEO, that CEO, these are the information they put out that I own a 2-bedroom house, I own a car before my appointment. So if after 2, 3, 4 years you are still in office and you are exiting, you should still come and tell it that, oh yes, I still maintain my 2 cars, I still maintain my 2-bedroom house, or I have added on to it. Then we'll be able to just put that against how much you are receiving and how much you've been able to accrue for yourself. But then again, you see, it is a serious cry if people are growing stuffs, growing yam, growing maize, growing sorghum, growing everything, and they are not having market for it. There's no ready market for it. And it is incumbent upon the state to have what we call the licensed buying companies. So we shouldn't only have a licensed buying company to buy cocoa and all these things. People grow plantain, they grow cassava, and they are being exploited by people. We should be able to have a means where we can buy the things from the farmer directly and through private sector-led, be able to be the one to distribute these things to the market or to the Ghanaian populace so that we can have a stable food to consume. But if you have a buffer stock which is owing, which as I'm talking to you today, if there is any international disaster, like what happened to the Russia-Ukraine where we're using it as a major reason why our economy flopped, at the end of the day, if today there is a major global disaster, and as a country we cannot import the rice, we cannot import the edible oil, we cannot import the tomatoes, we cannot go to Burkina to bring the tomatoes or go to Niger to bring the tomatoes, do you really think we can survive for 5 months as a country? Obviously no. Because we are just doing things anyhow. We are not making any progress. So we are of the view that many should come into the political space and contribute, because these 2 major parties have been taking us for a ride. The reason being so is that they believe that if it is not A, it is going to be B. So they are not afraid of accountability. They know that no matter what it is, we've been able to pass back and be able to do some quid pro quo arrangement and be able to get our way through. So at the end of the day, let us make sure that we fight corruption, because if we don't fight corruption, corruption is going to fight us. And if corruption fights us, then this country, a country that is running to IMF to borrow $3 billion, a country that is running on its knees, begging the Chinese, begging everybody for something, but the quantum of money that we are siphoning or dissipating right before our eyes is more than $3 billion. So which kind of people are we really? Are we people who are really want to be classified as a group of people who are intellectuals and we are fighting hard, we are fighting to build a society that the moral fiber of the society, which has been broken over the years, can be able to rejuvenate itself for us to ensure that we engender confidence in our society? Obviously not. So for me, let us leave the Attorney General to do his work. If he believes, one, there is no constitutional limitation, one, there is nothing there is no, as the lawyers will say, there is no ambiguity at the fact that as an Attorney General, you can decide to hold press conferences and update us on what you have been seeing, what you have been doing, and what you are likely to do. Then why are we blaming him that he's bastardizing people, or he's jeopardizing the integrity of people, or he's putting people's integrity on the chopping board? That is not the case. Right. So if the person who is accused thinks that he has sufficient justification for what the properties he acquired, he should go and justify it. But like I said, let us look at the law, so that now that we have accused this person, he should be the one to prove. If it's not so, we cannot win the war against corruption. We've not been able to find the head and tail of that issue because it has been left in abeyance. At the end of the day, is that the kind of country we want to build, when we are fighting, and at the end of the day, the poor people are there.
Thank you.
The society is living in poverty.
Thank you.
We have
Thank you,
a war.
Richard.
We need to wage a war not only against Galamsey. Let us wage a war against poverty. China did it. They moved their citizens from a lower income bracket to a middle income bracket. But in a country called Ghana, only 50 to 60% of the people, they are living below the poverty line. And we are here praising ourselves, saying we are the gateway to Africa and those forms. And so are we really making progress?
You've managed to use my platform to do campaign for United Party. Within 2 minutes, you have said a lot of things that, wow, you've gone through the whole thing. But let me read a few messages from my texters. I'll sample them. This is from Nana Kwesi. He says that, good morning, good work from NIMOS. Okay, so it has to do with the morning. But my problem is their inability to arrest the kingpins and financiers of illegal mining with all the security gadgets and institutions in the national security, like the Signal Bureau, who have the capacity to intercept phone calls, WhatsApp messages, and communication of citizens as a whole, which the national security laws all of them to do so. Why can't they use these tools to arrest these criminals? Well, another one from Sawari Jacob from Laura. He says, on the yesterday arrest, how come they were only able to arrest Chinese? How did these Chinese people get there? How did they get the land to work on? We saw some documents on social media saying NDC gave out license to some members when they assume office. How true is it? On the termination of mining license, who is qualified? Okay. Which license is qualified and why has it been terminated? Also from Emmanuel, he says, good morning. I really appreciate the good work you are doing to keep our environment safe. Our water bodies are still dirty. Please come to Bosuso in the eastern region. Illegal miners are destroying the only river in the town. Try to extend your operations to Bosuso. Bosuso is just 5 minutes drive from AZEEM. Okay. Another message from Charles. Please, I suggest the government should take over all those lands that will be reclaimed and hand it over to Forestry Commission to plant trees that will be beneficial to the state. Then one more before, then I come back to my panel. Good morning, KOJO. I'm watching you live from Amanfrom. The question you asked the lady about no recovered gold in the operational report was very important. Since the operations began, we have not seen any record of gold recovered. It's always burning machines and beating galamseyers. These guys are enriching themselves. God is watching. Daniel Owusu from Domiabra Obom constituency. Right. Sony, now Richard said something, whether we are actually demonstrating the will to fight. And one of the things that this week we heard is the OSP versus the Deputy Attorney General, where the Deputy Attorney General was saying that there's not been any docket on the Ken Ufeata case that would compel them to activate the extradition of Ken. The OSP came back and has given assurance that they are doing everything to extradite him or bring him back to the jurisdiction. Does this not speak to what Richard is saying? That we come on air, we talk big, make everybody believe something is being done, but in the back, really, nothing is happening.
With the OSP AG matter, I think both sides were clear. The Attorney General made it clear that you cannot do an extradition without a charge sheet.
Okay, so I understand there's a video here. So let's listen to the Deputy Attorney General, then I'll come back to Ni. So we'll put the discussion in perspective. Yeah, I'm just signaling them.
It's a notice to the whole world that this person is a wanted man, but the Interpol alert is not an extradition, procedure. So, if we really want the person to come, we need to make an extradition request to where we believe he is, which is the U.S. Now, this is what, and listen to me carefully on this. We are the only authority, that's the Attorney General Office, we are the only authority that can make extradition. But we need a docket from an investigative docket from the OSP to be able to make this extradition request. As of today, we still do not have a docket from the OSP. We have made several requests to the OSP, written letters, written demands to the OSP, asking that now that you've announced to the world that you are ready to have this person extradited, and there have been communication to that effect that even we've seen communication to the effect that the docket is ready and it's only the Attorney General that can make the. So we have been asking for the docket for dockets. You cannot go to the American authorities and say, this is the person we want him. No, you need to show, because when they are asking for people to be extradited to the United States, they bring the full docket of as if they are going to court. And then we take that docket to court for the court to see whether there's really merit for, bringing the person down. We have to do the same thing. We also have to take a full docket of all the evidence and what we believe the law.
TV for the video. So I mean, as you heard from the video, the Deputy Attorney General was categorical that he's also they heard all those announcements, but they don't have the docket. And
it's a process. You understand? There's a difference between the issuance of the red alert, okay, which prevents or prohibits the movement, you understand, from one jurisdiction to the other, and lets everybody know that you're a wanted person. And then there's the process of extradition itself, okay, which requires that you be charged with an offense, and there's evidence of that offense. And with the U.S., as the Honorable Deputy Attorney General said, they must have evidence of the docket, you understand, so that they can also go to their court and present it to their court that, look, the person has been charged with an offense, okay, where there's evidence to support that it's not a political witch hunt, it's not something, and so the court should allow the person to be extradited to Ghana to come and face trial, as they have also done, as we have done for them in the number of times. And in Ghana, the authority to deal with that extradition is the Office of the Attorney General. And so the Attorney General in his press conference indicated that he had what? He had written to the OSP for the docket, whether an interim docket or whatever it is, in whatever form. The OSP's office has responded in a press statement saying that they are in the process of putting the docket together and that they need a little time, you understand, because they are undertaking some investigations, the SML matter. We are all anxious to see the end of some of these cases, you understand. But as my learned friend here will tell you, if you rush the investigation, what you do is to give defense lawyers like him an opportunity to blow your case apart because you haven't followed due process. For example, your charges are incoherent. They are bad for duplicity, among others. A good defense attorney will rip your case into pieces. And so we need to allow the processes to take their time. It's not unfortunate that some of these letters were leaked and all that. But for me, what I think is that the two offices are complementary. They need each other to work. As the Attorney General said, there's no issue between the two offices. They are working together. And ultimately, Mr. Oforiatta will be brought down. You understand? There is always a day for accountability. And so clearly, that will be properly done. The Attorney General, as you see, is a very meticulous person. He's not going to rush to go and start an extradition process. And then, at the end of the day, when the U.S. authorities ask you, where is the evidence in support of your extradition request, you say, I don't have it. Clearly, that will mean that will be the end of the extradition process. And the Americans won't take you serious anymore because they will believe that you have other motives other than a genuine case for the person to answer. So I'm happy that the Office of the Special Prosecutor has indicated that they are putting the docket together. You understand? Because they put in the initial red alert. I'm sure there are other cases too that Mr. Oforiatta is going to face. And maybe those other investigative authorities too must finish up their dockets and let the Attorney General have it so that he can also deal with those ones and consolidate and then know that, look, if you are bringing the person down, you are bringing the person down to answer A, B, C, and D charges. You understand?
Okay. ENOCH. Yeah. So is this to suggest that whatever basis on which Ken was declared a fugitive was not enough basis to prosecute him at the time? That subsequent evidence had to be gathered, because if you're able to come out and tell people that the person is a fugitive, then my understanding, as a layperson, is that you have gathered enough information to come to that conclusion. Are we saying, or is that the OSP saying that that information that he had gathered was not enough to prosecute and just to call the person a fugitive?
Yeah, KOJO, like rightly Ni put it, that in terms of the law enforcement processes, it's a procedure. It is not just an event. And insofar as there are clear laws that regulate the conduct of some of these things, you must follow that duly to be able to ensure that whatever the mutual assistance or whatever the request is, it's in line with acceptable prescription of law. In Ghana, we have the Mutual Legal Assistance Act of 2010, that is Act 807. That gives certain prescriptions as to how some of this mutual legal assistance can be triggered from competent authorities within Ghana and outside Ghana. And in furtherance of that, when you look at Section 11 of the Mutual Legal Assistance Act of 2010, Act 807, it talks of confidentiality of requests. Even when foreign entities, foreign competent authorities are making mutual legal assistance or are requesting mutual legal assistance from Ghana, the law as prescribed, as established, or as passed by the Parliament of Ghana in Ghana, Act 807, talks of the confidentiality of that request. Under the circumstance of, or in respect of the matter of Ken Ofori-Atta versus the Office of Special Prosecutor, we are all aware of a semblance of a certain mutual legal assistance being sought by competent legal authorities in Ghana in furtherance of the extradition of Mr. Ofori-Atta to the Republic of Ghana. Is that what clearly the Act stipulates? And once it's become a political tool, one, we should also understand that the foreign countries also have their responsibility to protect. So once the life of the person, if the person feels that his life is being threatened by way of persecution and those things, and decide to seek political asylum, that under the circumstances, reading from the journals, reading from newspapers, from TV commentaries and political actors and those things, if I go to Ghana, I will not have a fair trial. Will the competent authority in US release the so-called fugitive of justice, as you have classified him, to come and face trial in Ghana for him to be persecuted? No. It is not without malice that we all believe in political accountability. That once you are given the opportunity to serve this country, under the circumstances, at the end of your tenure of office, you must account to the good people of Ghana the mandate that was bestowed upon you to be able to ensure that you diligently place yourself in a fiduciary relationship in serving the people of this country with utmost good faith. But when the narrative stems from certain behaviors, perceptions, that it is political in nature, not following due process. I was happy when I heard, the communications director of the Office of Special Prosecutor say that once this debate and this banter keep on, it will smear a sort of a political witch hunting against the person, and it will affect the grounds upon which the mutual legal assistance will be sought, and that it will not inure to the benefit of the state in seeking extradition of Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta to the Republic of Ghana. Clearly, one, what happened in the early hours of this year, or in the early months or the first quarter of this year, when the issue of Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta broke up? Lawyers for Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta wrote to the Office of Special Prosecutor seeking some favorable terms with the Office of Special Prosecutor for America. Is that not the case? Yes. Have we had correspondence from the Office of Special Prosecutors to whether or not they have had contact with the Mayo Clinic, whether or not they said a person they are looking for is clearly, as indicated by his lawyers, seeking medical care from that office? What has gone in as far as the correspondence between the OSP and the person of interest, i.e. Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta, is concerned? It has been a subject of litigation. The lawyers were in court, praying the court for some specific orders and reliefs, and a whole lot of things. So, the banter between the Office of Special Prosecutor and the Attorney General's office, I believe clearly, is gravely unnecessary. because these are competent state institutions. And although the Office of Special Prosecutor has some semblance of prosecutorial powers, we say autonomous special prosecutor, but we know that per our constitution and pinning, the OSP is not independent as he ought to be, because the Constitution grants the prosecutorial powers of the state clearly to the Attorney General under Article 88. And no one had such powers other than the Attorney General. So it's just a delegated power that has been granted the Office of Special Prosecutor pursuant to the Office of Special Prosecutor Act. And that, I believe, it's as a result of this that there is a lingering conflict between the OSP and the Attorney General, because the Attorney General feels that we have the mandate. We have delegated some powers to you, and we believe that you should act upon our instructions, as we do. The man also at OSP feels that I am independent. I am doing my duty diligently per the establishment instrument in accordance with my procedure and my act. And that if I am not done, I am not done. And that leave me to do my work. But because of diplomacy and because of tact diplomacy, they don't want to show us that there is a clear conflict between the OSP and the Office of the Attorney General in respect of the Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta matter. But let us behold that whatever lingering question that lies as to whether or not Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta could be extradited to come and face possible charges, as far as the investigations of the OSP is concerned, lies on whether or not the said investigation is being conducted in utmost good faith or under the guise of political persecution. Right. And that we should be careful as a country not to paint. And KOJO, let's also be told that the American government has a diplomatic setup in Ghana, of which they observe and inform the American government as to the ongoing issues in the country, day in and day out. They send note verbals and other things. They send writings. They send correspondence, intelligence reports to the American government. And they're also following and monitoring the issues closely. And that, in fact, as far as you are triggering this mutual legal assistance, notes that have been sent to the American government in respect of this matter, they will also consider same. And that the Attorney General, if it's a matter of utmost good faith that they are there to protect the national peace in the interest of justice, that is why they want to seek this mutual legal assistance from the American government pursuant to the treaty or the agreement between the government of Ghana and the government of the United States of America, then they should use due process as prescribed by law. Because the Supreme Court of Ghana has even ruled on procedure in the case of Boyfield versus NTHC, that when an enactment prescribes a procedure in which an action or something ought to be done, it is only, the court used only through that procedure. So if the Mutual Legal Assistance Act prescribes a certain procedure, confidentiality, grounds for declining, and all those things, we should be mindful of the procedure. In order not to run political commentaries, to taint the processes and to be able to give an unfair advantage to the person if the person has indeed caused some financial loss to the state. I don't believe, that's why I use the word indeed as being alleged. But if the person has not, we should not unnecessarily also defame the integrity and personality of the person involved. And let us build a unified and harmonious country that we all can be proud of.
Doc, when the Deputy Attorney General made this statement, I followed commentary on social media. I followed commentary on in the public space, and it seems confidence in the Office of Special Prosecutor is beginning to go down, because it looks like there's a lot of talk and very little action. What specifically, as a political scientist, what specifically should the OSP do to redeem or to reinforce public confidence in that office? Because I've heard people saying that the office now should be, it's become a waste of taxpayers' money, so they should just forget the office and concentrate only on the Attorney General. What should the OSP do to revive public confidence?
Right, thank you, KOJO. Yes, in fact, I also read comments about this even on your platform, your Facebook platform, and others. Right. So what OSP, in my view, should do is that, they must work effectively with the Attorney General, right? because even though we know, like the lawyer talked about Article 88, right? So that is we always talk about Attorney General, right, and then the Minister for Justice. Okay, but somehow the OSP, a law was passed to establish the OSP. Okay, and then OSP to have some kind of independence to be able to do what it is doing. But the fact is that all institutions, whether security, judicial, whatever, at a certain point in time, you need to work collaboratively with other agencies to be able to get whatever you are looking at. So, because if what I heard from the Deputy AG is that the OSP wrote to the presidency, and obviously the president referred it to the Attorney General, and then they wrote to the OSP, because maybe we cannot proceed without having to know where you are, because we cannot just sit down and write. Okay, so, and it appears since then nothing came from the OSP, and that is the ground. That is where the citizens, people are not happy about the OSP, because questions have been asked. If you are doing nothing, okay, and therefore the Attorney General must work. Must be very careful so that they do not walk into a landmine. Okay, so people are raising issues about the politics, because after all, it was established under the previous administration. So I'm expecting the OSP to live, above, certain situation, and working with the Attorney General, provide, because once the OSP, you cannot maybe issue some of those into other jurisdictions. Okay, you need the support of the Attorney General. And the Attorney General cannot just get up and then write any letter at all that we are looking for this person. So you must provide the evidence. What are the investigations have you done so far? So that the Attorney General will settle it. Our colleague, the lawyer from the MPP, talked about the mutual, legal assistance, all right? Okay, so, relating to Ghana. Okay, so we have extradition. And then the mutual legal assistance in some other regions is something that is also separate. Because extradition means that maybe you want to obtain the physical, the person, you want the person, all right? In some jurisdiction, mutual legal assistance will be to obtain evidence and others, documents, and so many other things that you can exchange with the other country. So at this particular point, the former finance minister, so far, he's not gone to court and all that. So is it that we are looking for his extradition? Is it what OSP is looking for, right? That do they want him, his personal presence here? So I think that he must provide whatever evidence to the AG, so that the Attorney General will study the docket and see whether maybe this is what we need. Is it that we need documents? Is it something that we can maybe continue to do the investigations and call him? If he doesn't come, we can still go to court. So that if the person, if at the end of the day, he's found guilty by the court, then from there, I think that they can, go through all the other processes of getting him to come, and then if he's found guilty, to come and serve whatever punishment that he's due. So at this point in time, I don't know whether are we asking for extradition, or we are asking for certain specific information from the former finance minister. I think that we need some clarity on it. And then the AG can only provide such clarity based on the facts from the OSP. So OSP must do the needful, must do whatever it takes to provide, to furnish the Attorney General with the docket or whatever fact they have about it, so that they will also study and they take the necessary steps. Other than that, it's like trying to create, we are doing this, we are looking for this person, we are not getting, and so bring us the evidence, you are not bringing the document. So that is why people are not happy with asking that it should be scrapped. So the OSP will have to now, rescue itself, redeem itself by doing what is necessary, giving the docket, whatever fact they have about the former finance minister to the Attorney General to study. That is that aspect. Another aspect also has to do with about the finance minister himself as a person, right? This is someone, you were appointed as the finance minister of the Republic. There are issues before.
I have 7 minutes to close. Doc, can you hear me?
All right. Yes. So just let me just wrap up.
Yeah, so
right?
just 1 minute.
The finance minister.
Just 1 minute, so you land for me. Just 1 minute.
So if they are looking for you, yeah. Okay.
No, Doc, I was saying that you just have 1 minute, so please land for me.
why won't you make yourself available to your state, right? You serve in a very waiting for, all this happens in order to move him into Ghana. So I think that if, you believe that there are no issues, I think that he should come to Ghana, right? So I think that the Republic Ghanaians are asking that once he served us in that capacity, he should come to Ghana. He should not wait for Attorney General, the OSP, the US or the UK to bring him to his own country. He should come to country where he served as the finance minister and respond to whatever issues that are there.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you. Richard, I'll give you the last say, but just a bit to clarify the mutual, it's mutual what? The legal assistance. Now, at least I was part of a process recently where some people had to be extradited from Ghana to the US. Now, there needs to be that agreement between two states. If there's no agreement, you can't just walk into a state and demand that they should extradite somebody for you. There has to be some agreement because they would have to do their investigations there, establish that there's an offense created, have a docket, submit the docket to the country that they need a person to be extradited from. That docket has to go to court. The people have to be invited or arrested, and then they also have to make a legal representation. Their lawyers have to go and argue the case, and until the court concludes that, yes, there's grounds for them to be extradited, they can't leave. So at least, like I mentioned, I've been part of a process like that, and the people to be moved from Ghana to the US, and that's when they were moved. So yes, the two are together. You cannot extradite without having that mutual legal assistance framework in place. So just for education for our listeners.
And by way of information, Ghana it's a treaty. The US has treaties with other countries and agreements with other nations, including Ghana. And Ghana, as a dualist state, one's international law and local laws are different. So if you want to integrate international law into the body of laws of Ghana, you need to take it to Parliament to pass an act of Parliament. That is why in 2010, the government of Ghana, through Parliament, passed the Mutual Legal Assistance Act of 2010, Act 807, to regulate this mutual legal assistance phenomenon in accordance with law. So the processes that you outlined are all processes inherent in the law that you must go through to be able to establish that there's a legal need for you to be extradited, not just on persecution. That maybe your life may be even at risk, that when you are even extradited, you are going to be killed. Right. So there should be that kind of fairness, that genuineness, that your life will be protected, and there's a legal need for you to be in that country, or for that country has a responsibility to also protect you before that order will be granted for you to be extradited outside the shores of the Republic. So it is not just by way of, say, extradition, so you just follow due process, and I believe that...
Thank you. Richard, that will be try and do this for me. Forgive me, I know I'm pressing you, but try and do this for me in like 2 minutes, because my time is almost up.
Perhaps it's too much for
Yes.
me. Well, the issue is that I feel like there is some level of lacuna or ambiguity in this fight against corruption. Who is responsible for fighting corruption in Ghana, really? Is it the OSP? Is it the Attorney General? Is it EOCO? Is it BNI? Is it CI? I just can't fathom who is actually responsible for fighting corruption in this country. Because we do things in ad hoc. And now I realize that the Attorney General, to some of these issues, they are playing to the gallery. Because if you have an issue with the OSP, you are demanding from the OSP some information. Are they all not state institutions? Are they not supposed to collaborate? Are they not supposed to work as a team? Why should the Deputy Attorney General be telling us in the public that the reason why they've not been able to extradite Ken Ofori-Atta, the former minister, is because they are expecting some docket from OSP which has not been given to them? What kind of Attorney General department is that? These are issues that they're supposed to do behind the scene. Our responsibility, or what we are expected as a country or citizens, you should be able to tell us that this is how far you've been able to come. Don't tell us about the obstacles, the bureaucracy that are in the system for which reason you are not able to extradite the person. And then again, I want to state clearly that when the office of the special prosecutor doesn't have prosecutorial powers, then that office should be scrapped immediately. It is of no sense, it is of no use. Because what is their purpose of being there? Why are they being paid? What are they doing? So today, how many cases have they prosecuted? How many people have they been able to find guilty? How much have they been able to recoup for us? We should be able to measure what KPIs were we used to establish the office of the OSP. Those KPIs, those variables, are they delivering on it? If they are not delivering on it, then we should scrap them. and the government is in power, you cannot fight your people. Was sentenced in absentia. That means, as for her, she has even been found guilty. Up to now, the government of the day has not been able to tell us how for Ken Ofori-Atta. They are here creating the impression of seems that there's something untoward happening for which reason they've not been able to bring him to this country. And like how my senior brother is saying that there are legions as to which you can follow to bring someone to this country. Why don't you follow it? If you are following it and there are some obstacles in terms of what the other counterparts in abroad are doing, for which reason you cannot bring them, it's understandable. But if you are telling me the obstacles or the obstruction to which you cannot bring the person is because of OSP, then the Attorney General office should equally be scrapped as well.
Richard, forgive me.
It should equally be scrapped as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr.
Jalilu ATEKU, a political science lecturer at the University of Ghana. My brother ENOCH AFOAKWAH is a member of the legal team of the NPP. And my brother Richard, also the acting deputy secretary for the United Party. Earlier we had Ni Papo SAMOA ADDO, also a member of the NDC legal team. Thank you very, very much this morning. Let's continue having our discussions at home. Let's continue to pursue being Ghanaians.
We are Ghanaians. We are Ghanaians.
We are not spectators.
We are not spectators. Yes, so God bless our homeland Ghana and make our nation great and strong. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.